All right. Let's go. Let's get this bitch underway. Start your day. CliffCentral.com. It is Friday morning. Good morning, everybody. All right, so we got a lot to get to today. So many things to talk about. Where do we even begin? Well, this morning, it's going to be me. It's going to be Simpiwe. Who else is going to be here? How the hell do I... I'm just going to stop that there. Jesus Christ. I don't know how to fucking turn that thing down in the volume. Simpiwe is already laughing and she hasn't even got her computer connected yet. All right. Well, we got a lot of things to get to today. And we want to hear from you. We've got our calls working again. So we want that to happen. We had it working yesterday. We just didn't take any calls. I suppose bad habits, right? Simpiwe, we've got to move you out of the line of that light. Like over there somewhere. Otherwise, it looks like you're blessed by Jesus, which you are, of course.
I mean, if I look like an angel,
let me just put you on here.
That's
see that how bright
okay,
that?
No. Okay, we're still trying to look good. I might find a man on the show, so let's make sure I have a good side.
Yeah, we can't have you with a halo behind you.
Yeah, that would be like selling lies and dreams to people.
You see how it's frozen right now? It looks like you're wearing a hat. But your hat is the heavenly light from God. It's just unbelievable. All right. So we got lots of stuff to talk about in the news today. But I've got to start with something. We've got such great listeners. And Congo Chris sent me a story via Ryan, the producer. Mm-hmm. Congo Chris doesn't mess around. So when he sends me something, I usually read it. I mean, a lot of people will send me things and I'll ignore them. Like this great story. Struggling waitress fails to get job and then ends up billionaire. I mean, I just know that's nonsense, right? Oh, damn. And those are the ones that afterwards they say to you in the story, would you like to know more? Come here and learn about our cryptocurrency exchange. Those ones. So this is the story that Congo Chris sends to us. And I know this is going to upset people, which is why I love it so much. So if you had to rank the cities in South Africa according to which is the best and which is the worst, all right, and from a health point of view, because we've ranked them in every other possible way. Mm-hmm. So according to the health experts, all right, this is from the Herald Live, it's an Eastern Cape newspaper. So these guys have a vested interest in making the Eastern Cape look good. Even they have had to admit that PE is the unhealthiest city in South Africa. Yes. Guess which city in South Africa has the most fat people? It is none other than Port Elizabeth. Yes, everybody. Port Elizabeth is the home of the biggest people in the country. So unhealthiest. The healthiest city is no guess.
Cape Town?
Yep.
All right.
Why? Because they're jogging up Signal Hill on a Tuesday, when everyone else is working.
Oh, yes. And they're just looking at the mountain front and they just...
So well done, PE. It's so nice that PE finally wins something. And that is the mayor of Port Elizabeth right there on the... Yes, ma'am. Yeah. I understand. Yes. Right. All right. She's getting very upset. So we'll take your calls this morning. 083-295-5769. It has 69 at the end. That's why we stuck with this number. So 083-295-5769. Give us a call. We want to hear from you. Phone calls. We get your phone calls. We get your phone calls every day. How are you, Simpiwe? We haven't caught up with you, and you were accused of terrible things on the show on Wednesday because you couldn't talk your way out of a roadblock. There was 2 women cops, and I think if it was men, I think you would have done a whole lot better.
Yes. So
absolutely.
I drive like a bit of a taxi driver now and again.
I've seen you. You do.
Yes. And this time around, I heard that, just after I had jumped the red robot, because I was like, I'm gangster like that. Just to find out it's 2 older ladies. And I was like,
shit.
This is a ticket coming.
Because they have no sympathy either. They're like, ooh, this young girl.
Yeah, who do you think you are? Just breaking the rules. And I was like, okay, I can't
want to fight with them.
Yes, you can't flirt your way out. You can't smile your way out. You kind of just have to take the heat. I think I did a good job because there was two of them, and the one was like bitching and moaning. She was just like, "I'm gonna give you a 2,000 rand ticket right now," and I was like, yes,
sure.
man.
She was one of those, you're not going to be able to talk your way out. You are in big trouble. I'm going to make sure that you pay the price.
Yes.
One of those ones.
And thank God there was her partner, right?
It was a little more sensitive.
Yes. And she's
Right.
like, "Are you okay?" Because you know what I did? I changed my music to some R&B sob songs playing, and I just gave her these puppy dog eyes. And I was like, no, it's tough.
See, because Ryan actually got angry with his traffic cops because he had to go and collect a pizza or something.
And he's like, "Yeah, write me up." And I was like,
Yeah. What
who says that?
That's a stupid way to go, right? That's
like,
not smart.
What? No, you need to hang at them. You need to just act like I was like, yo, my life is going through it. It's tough. Like, I'm late for work.
Boy.
I might get fired. And then the other lady was kind of able to calm down, the one who actually wanted to give me the ticket. And then she's just like, "You know what? It's okay. Take a deep breath and I'll let you go." And I was like, thank God. But Ryan, on the other hand, he's on some, write me up. Write me up.
No.
I did nothing wrong.
If you want to be super ballsy and start talking like that to cops, it's not going to go your way. No, you're just gonna end up either spending the night in jail, which is never fun.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not doing that, then you're going to end up with a big ticket to pay. And, a lot of people say, "Oh, well, don't bother to pay the ticket." But sometimes the system does work, and then they find you and then they take away your license or whatever else, because they can be real bitches if they want to. These traffic cops. All right. Any plans for the weekend that we need to know about?
No. I think I just want to be at home. I'm
quiet this weekend.
Yes, I'm trying to reserve all my energy for the end of the month because it is my birthday month. So that's when I want to just kind of do a whole like, you guys are not seeing me from Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Let's go. So yeah, I'm just gonna be spending some time at home for the next couple of weeks.
Well, it doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah.
I'm
embracing getting older, like just being like, you're an adult when you can just be at home and just relax and enjoy your coffee, your tea, and
you do that.
Mm-hmm.
You go your way. You sort that out. Ben is going to be joining us a little later on because it is Friday, and that is a good excuse to get him in the studio. Also going to be joined a little later on by George Mienie, who will be here with us from Auto Trader, of course. And I've got to say, it's also cool because we're having Auto Trader here for a little lunch. Breakfast. What am I talking about? Lunch. Oh. Yeah, that's two. What if we here for lunch and breakfast? No. I mean, I am here until 2-3 o'clock, but that's a separate set of circumstances. They're coming in for a lunch. Auto Trader, our oldest and most loyal client, which is bloody amazing. So they deserve some kudos for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. All right, a couple of stories in the news that we need to look at this before Ben arrives and before Simpiwe and I can launch into all kinds of other conversations. We're going to look at some of the stories that are getting everyone's attention in the news this week. First of all, a lot of people, and I said this yesterday at the end of the Burning Platform, very upset that Didi Mabuza has resigned. How are we going to manage without the deputy president?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Been very, very important.
No,
I know. Oh, no. That's the one from all the TikTok videos,
yes,
right? Yeah. I'm so sick of that song. You know how many people use it now for look, some of them are funny, but damn, some of them, that's so out of place. Oh, my God. Okay, let Ben call in Mum Jane and tell her himself who he's back with. Yes, wow. Wasn't last Friday a big show?
Yes, it was.
There was a lot going on.
There were plot twist after plot twist, and I was just like, I'm here for this tea.
Yes, absolutely. So I think there are a lot of people who want to hear that. We may as well pull Jane in. I'm sure she'll be around by at least 7:30. So we'll see if we can drag her into that conversation.
Yes.
I see also that there are lots of comments. Oh, by the way, someone asked for the phone calls number. So it's 083-295-5769. We're going to test it out and make sure it's working for this morning. Mm-hmm. I think we've got everything in place there. All right, let me just see this quickly. There we go. Trying to connect everything up here. Okay, we should be good to go. I see also there are a couple of people talking about load shedding, a couple of people talking about water shedding. I hope that's not your weekend. And we try on a Friday to not do any of the discussion around politics, the stuff we can't control. Friday morning's our morning to feel a little bit better about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that we've got to just quickly reflect on how well the Uncancelled podcast and video has been received.
Yes.
You've been looking into that, Simpiwe. You know the numbers.
Yes, I do.
So it's
I'm one of those
very, very good.
who like gets super excited when you upload something on YouTube or TikTok or wherever, and then like within the first 24 hours, I think that's like my golden rule. First 24 hours, look at the numbers. And we had already hit like 20K views. So I was like, this is gonna go big. And we already over like 70K views last I checked. Okay. And we hit 20K subscribers. Like, yay.
Well, this is all on a brand new show and a brand new channel. So we're very keen and excited for you to see it. And go and check it out if you haven't yet, because then we'll know it's worth doing the next one.
Yes, it
all
is.
Right?
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Famous Mama says, you don't want me calling. I might just make your morning. Oh, big talk. Big talk. Please. It's big words, Famous Mama. We want to hear we want to see some action. Mm-hmm. I just want to hear your words. So Living Sunny says, Gareth, is a jail cell as scary as they portray it out there? When was I arrested for speeding? It must have been... It's got to be about like 7 years ago now. And they put me, well, I was going at 182. And if you go anything over 160, Simpiwe, you get locked straight up, eh? You don't, there's no option for a fine. They can't just let you go.
Sure.
They have to take you straight to the police cells.
Okay.
So I was in there on my own, which is always good.
Okay.
You don't want to be there with anyone.
That's the danger.
That's number one.
That's where the danger is.
I was out after about 2 and a bit hours. So it wasn't that late because it was about 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Oh, okay.
When I was caught, and then I was out before midnight. Oh. So it wasn't too bad.
Okay.
But you have to call the lawyers and hope that they're awake, and then they have to hope that they can speak to the station, and so there's obviously you don't want to be making mistakes in that kind of situation. And when it was done, it was done. I was out the next week. I had to appear in court.
Okay.
And then there's a magistrate, and they say to you, "You very bad person," and you go, "Yes, whatever.
So
I'm so sorry." Blah blah blah.
Again.
And you have to pay a fine if you admit guilt, which I did, which you shouldn't. You should never admit guilt. You should tell them their equipment is shit. Tell them that they were wrong. Do everything you can. Do not comply with the system. I'm going to say this as a law-abiding citizen. What I did was I said, I'm really sorry. I was wrong. I didn't realize I was going so fast. Treat me as a bad person who's done something wrong, and I must pay the price. I will never make that mistake again. Fight. Tell them you're innocent. Never admit you've ever done anything wrong, and everything will be better.
I got you.
Yeah.
I've gotten
there's my lesson for the morning. So now everybody knows.
So like 1 December, I've gotten the phone call from like an uncle who's like, yo, I just got pulled over from the cops. Shit. Like, can you guys help me? And we're just like, we'll see you tomorrow, dude.
That's nice. Good people in the Mtetwa family.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah, we're just like, yo, you're
going
us
down, man.
What time? And it's December. There's no getting out of this. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll help you tomorrow morning. And that's what we did. We woke up the next morning, went to and did all of that. It was just like, dude, don't do this again. We don't want to be here.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. That's proper not giving a shit from the Mtetwa family. Yeah, exactly. All right. Simpiwe's got some things she wants to discuss with us this morning, some things that she's been thinking about, birthday month included. You've started a new series of sharing life lessons.
Yes.
And there will be a birthday list, which we're used to.
Yes.
The birthday list from Simpiwe is really just stuff she wants that she's not prepared to pay for.
Yes.
That's all it is. I mean, we don't even disguise it anymore.
Yeah.
It's now.
It's like the wish list.
Yeah.
The ultimate wish list.
Stuff I want. It's like those people on the internet who are running a huge follow account on Twitter or Instagram, and they basically just say to you in no uncertain terms, "Listen, I want free stuff. Here's a link to my Amazon wish list." That's what they do, right?
Yes.
And people will be like, "You follow me, buy me shit." That's what you're asking for, basically.
Well, At least I don't say you follow me, buy me. I'm like, it's my birthday. Here's an excuse to buy me something. And if you were thinking of getting me something, this is what I want. So the list will be dropping, but I've decided because this is my crown birthday. So I'm turning 28 on the 28th.
What does that mean? Crown birthday.
I'm turning the day, 28th and the 28th.
Oh, I see what you mean. Oh,
Yes.
okay. All right. I got you. Very good. Okay.
Yeah, so
that didn't make sense to me for a second. I was like, oh, so 28's no, it's because it's you. Okay.
Yes.
Got you.
So I was like, oh, let's make a big deal about this. Let's share some of the life lessons I've learned over the years.
Good.
And some of them are not that deep. I'm not going to give you like motivational stuff, like to be like, oh, follow your dreams. No, like some of the things is don't do this adulting thing. I don't recommend it. That's a life lesson I had to learn.
Yeah, because who wants to? All that responsibility.
Don't do it.
You know, I said to someone, someone asked me, like, what's the best thing you... My advice to them was stay at home with your parents as long as you can. Let the washing be done there, give free meals, free accommodation, if they won't charge you. I mean, some people's parents do.
Yeah. That tough love is real.
Yeah, you got a place to park your car. There's stuff. There's a lot of advantages.
Yes.
Stay there as long as possible.
Mm-hmm.
That's one piece of advice. I do think beyond 30, it becomes a bit of a problem, though.
Yeah, especially for guys. I'm judging you. If you're going to approach me and then we're talking and then you're like, yeah, I still live at my parents' house.
Different standards for guys and girls. No, totally. But I'm with you. I don't disagree.
Like, what have you done with your life? Okay.
You don't want to go home to some 30-year-old would-be boyfriend and he's like, oh, we gotta go make no noise because my parents are sleeping.
Yeah, and curfew and like, oh my gosh, like, this weekend the mom's over.
No.
Yeah, not trying to live like that. But I just thought it would be cool to just share some lessons I've learned because, I'm not embracing the fact that I'm an adult.
Where are you putting these on YouTube?
Yes, and on Instagram. So you can just follow me on Instagram.
Well, here it is. In case you were wondering what Simpiwe's handle is, there it is. Boom.
Yes, there we go. And that's basically what you can expect this year. Like, I'm not trying to do too much. That's it.
Well, talking about doing too much.
Mm-hmm.
I know somebody. She's in her 80s.
Ooh.
And she is pretty good at, like, she only does one thing a day. Because she's old.
Mm-hmm.
So for her, if her one thing is to go to the shops,
that's it.
And that's the only thing she'll do that day. There will be no other projects. Like I have a list on this phone for today that is, let me see how many things there are here. Here we go. I've got my list, right? Mm-hmm. So my list for today is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 things that I have to get done. Not including this show, not including meetings that I have with clients and things today. So I've got to do all of those things today. Otherwise, I'm going to feel tonight when I go to sleep like I'm a loser.
Okay.
So no big deal. But this woman says one thing.
Okay.
One thing a day. And she said you have to draw boundaries. She says, oh, hello.
Oh, there's a phone call.
See, it just rings like that. I love this. I love the way it just rings for us. Yo, morning.
Good morning.
What's happening?
How are you?
Good. Who's this?
This is Famous Mama.
You did call.
Me out. I am in the house.
Okay, is that your picture that you use when you message us?
Yes, that is me.
Okay, you look pretty. You do look pretty hot. That's a good picture.
Oh wow! Thank you so much for the compliment.
I look at some people's pictures on here, and I'm like, I've got the ugliest listeners in the whole fucking world. So I'm delighted that you're here. That's good. All right, Famous Mama. Why are you called Famous Mama? We need to know.
Famous Mama Truth, because I am far from afraid to speak the truth, eh?
All right. But you're also a mom?
Yes, I am. That is the truth. Yes.
I'm just struggling to draw the distinction between Famous Mama and telling the truth. Like, I don't see that.
Well, there's a little story behind that. When my late husband was clearly alive,
you have a dead husband. How long ago did he die?
2020.
Oh, COVID?
No, not at all. Oh. I'm pretty comfortable speaking about it. He had a heart attack in his sleep.
Oh, geez.
Woke up next to a dead man.
Oh my God! How long had he been dead? Was he cold?
Probably. I woke up next to him cold.
Oh my God, that is awful. I'm so sorry. What a shitty thing to happen.
You know, you get to a point in your life, it is what it is. And if you don't allow life without seeking for it first, seek it better first and heal, it will clearly haunt you for the rest of your life. But if you choose that there's so much more to life than what the current situation is, things change. It really does.
So this husband of yours, how long had you been married? Are these the kids from him?
No, not at all. He was actually the stepfather.
Oh, wow. So you've been married twice?
No, he was my first marriage.
Oh, so your kids were born out of wedlock from a different man.
Oh, yes, because
This is a saucy story. That's because you would never get it. No, you're not. I'm not judging you. I'm not judging you. We don't label kids bastards anymore, so don't panic. But you obviously you could get away with some of this because from your picture you look attractive, so this wouldn't have been a problem.
Oh,
anyway,
wow,
this guy, how long were you with?
Yes.
How long were you with this guy before he died in the bed next to you? Which is really inconsiderate, by the way. I mean, that would traumatize a lot of people.
It would. That's why I'm strong. That's why I'm famous mama, because it's the story that makes the person famous. But I'm not famous, but it's the story that makes the person unique.
Well, Slippery Pickle in the comments says, I hate waking up dead. Did this guy leave you some money?
I'm having a good day. Let's just say that.
He did.
I'm having a good cup of coffee.
Was he?
I'm having a good cup of coffee.
Hang on. I'm sniffing a bit of a story here. Was he very, very wealthy and old, and that's why he died in bed next to you? And you were like, ka-ching.
No. We were simple, humble people.
Oh God. Okay. Well, I was rooting for you there, but what the hell?
Not old people. Oh yeah. We can't be old people.
Okay. All right. Well, how old?
It's so early in the morning.
Famous mama. How old are you?
Yes, I am 32. He died at the age of 39.
Okay, so he was only a little bit older than you. That's pretty weird, though. I mean, like, not a lot of people die of heart attacks in their 30s. Was he vaxxed?
Lifestyle, stress.
Was he vaxxed?
Work. 24/7. And, you know, sometimes it is the truth. Men don't really have the platform to speak. And they withhold a lot of things from themselves, especially the people that they love. So,
are you saying he was very stressed? And because stress is a major killer, but what you haven't answered my question. Was he vaxxed?
Yes. Was he?
Did he have the vaccine?
No, not at all. Oh. Neither did I.
Because a lot of young people are, you know, getting like heart attacks in their 30s, and they say that increase is related to the year of the vaccines. And it seems that more and more that's the evidence coming through. So I wasn't asking to be controversial, but you say he was stressed.
No, 100%. Yeah, it's just work related. You know, he worked throughout COVID, and apparently the doctor said because heart attack disease was in his bloodline, his grandfather died in his early 40s. Mm-hmm. So it was one of those things. And unfortunately, people need to realize it was their time. Make memories. Spend time with the people that you love, and don't waste your time with nonsense. Life is way too short.
Stop nonsense. So, famous mama, have you moved on? Have you got a new guy in your life already?
Oh, no, I'm too fussy. This mama on TikTok is known to be #famous mama, #mama truth, #fussy mama.
Okay, so what kind of guy, help us here, what kind of guy are you looking for? I mean, like, give us a few pointers in the right direction.
Oh, I'm going to get myself into trouble for this, but let's go.
Go on.
I don't want a man with children because I want more kids. Okay. Therefore, I don't think I would have the patience or capability to look after somebody else's children because I've brought my son up pretty well.
Yeah, but you don't want. No one wants anyone else's children, of course.
I know.
No one does. One of my friends who's in his 40s, he's desperate to settle down, and he really wants.
I'm not desperate.
Well, no, I know you're not, but he really wants to settle down, and he's been with 2 girls who have kids with another guy, and he tries really hard, but I don't see it working. I mean, You don't. There's nothing in you that makes you want to look after someone else's child. I'm sorry. It's not gonna, you want zero children. Okay, so we got that on the agenda.
0 children.
All right. What else?
Have your stuff together. Don't be a man that sleeps at mama's house and is dependent on others.
That's what Simpiwe agreed.
Pretty well.
All right. Yeah, Simpiwe agreed on that. We're gonna hook you up today. It's gonna happen today during the show. Okay, so gotta have a job.
You just don't know how busy I am.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Are we very particular about looks, or do you mind if he looks like absolute shit? Let's say he's overweight and he's balding and he's got bad teeth, but he's got lots of cash.
Because if you're no, money is not even the thing. You must be healthy, because if I know that you are healthy, you are looking after yourself, which means that in some instance you've learned to put yourself first, which means you're going to take care of a lot of things.
Simpiwe does not believe you about the money, by the way.
Yeah, I don't.
She's
I came from nothing. I only have everything because I lost everything.
I'm not saying anything about you. It's more of a comment on Simpiwe, because she's
100%.
like, guys don't even enter the ring if she's not prepared to check her bank balance. So that's part of the plan with her.
Yeah, they mustn't be broke, clearly.
No, sure.
Because then they haven't believed in themselves enough to take many risks, because that's what I do. As a businesswoman, I take a risk on myself and on the ideas that I put out. So you must be a risk taker and somebody that loves somebody that wants to talk 24/7. If you've got no time to communicate, then don't waste your time with me.
I'm still fixating on this idea of you waking up and there's this dead dude next to you. You don't know how long he's been lying there dead. Jesus. And you seem to be okay about this. I mean, like, I'd be a little bit traumatized if I were you.
It took a lot of healing. It's been 3 years now. Hey, I used to have black hair. I was a bit overweight because we had a miscarriage before then.
Oh, wow.
So
with the dead dude?
Yes, with the dead dude. we had a miscarriage, and it really was. Death is either going to be an eye-opener for you, where there's a lot of things that need to change in your life, or you're going to sit and wallow and mourn for the rest of your life. And I'm not that type of person to mourn. As an entrepreneur, there's no time to sit and ponder on what was. Your brain is restructured to think, what can I do next? What is the next step for me, as painful as it was? I'm sorry to have, you tell the story and that you had to go through this. But 100%.
I think there are lots of people. Just hang on. I think your dead husband is on the line. Just hang on a second. Just see. Hello. Yes. Good morning. Good morning. I just want to reach out to my former partner and just tell her I'm sorry I shat in the bed before I died. Didn't mean to do that. Oh my God! All right, listen. Nice to talk. All right, thank you, famous mama. Have a very happy day.
You guys have an absolutely fantastic blessed day.
All right, good weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, that laughing would drive me. I'd also die in bed next door with that cackling. Holy shit! All right, so thank you, famous mama. We love you. At least we know she didn't kill him, because she's,
Yes,
she's healing properly.
But I can sum up.
And he didn't have tons of cash. So
what I can sum up is that she wants a guy at her level. We don't know what level she's at, but she wants a guy. I think
she's
who's at that level, because she's an entrepreneur, and whatnot.
She's allowed to be fussy. Everyone's allowed to be fussy. If you settle, listen, Simpiwe, if you settle for less, you will get less.
Okay.
And your whole life will be a misery.
Okay, that's true.
Again, I was saying to a friend of mine, he and I had dinner a couple of weeks ago, and I haven't seen him for about 3 months, but we're really good friends. So when you don't see anyone who you know very well you catch up. And I'm like, still no relationships? He's like, hell no. He has been seeing this girl, but there's no doubt in his mind that this is not someone he wants to be with on a permanent basis. It's more like they're together for the sex and the fun.
Okay.
And she'll pop in and visit, but she's not keeping a toothbrush at his house, basically.
So as the young kids would say, he's here for a good time and not a long time.
Yes, but he said he's not settling because he looked around in the restaurant where we were sitting. He said, show me a couple here that looks happier than me. And I thought, that's a pretty damn good way of figuring out whether you should be like them or like you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're happier than the other people in the restaurant, you're on the right track.
Yes.
And he was laughing and smiling and telling stories and having a good time. And there were a couple of people around. There were some couples. Couples didn't look miserable.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't look as happy as him.
That's a good point.
So just use that as a barometer.
Don't settle.
No.
No. Okay. So,
Tabo says, did you guys see DJ Fresh started a podcast? He spoke about your show and cancelled. Yes, I saw. I love that. Listen, I love that he is back in the swing. And we were talking to him. I had an old number of his. I didn't have his new number, but he eventually checked that one and it's like, hey, dude, thanks for the message. Because I have a really good relationship with Fresh. We've been, I wouldn't say we're friends because we never really spent time outside of work together, but we would pitch up at gigs together. I'd go out and he'd be there. You know, we'd see each other at big events or whatever. And obviously we'd see each other at the office occasionally because he was doing afternoons, I was doing mornings. But we always got along really well. And when he and Euphonic were going through all that shit, I kept quiet and didn't say anything because I kind of knew that this was a fishing expedition by the girl who's making these allegations. Of course, the court came out and proved exactly that.
Yes.
And these two lost pretty much their entire livelihoods during that time.
Because in South Africa, you are guilty
until proven innocent, which is nonsense. And I have to say, like, I've always been a fan of what Fresh does. And I don't believe he's a horrible person. And I didn't believe it then. And I stood up for him. And I think I stood up for him here very publicly on the show. So I'm delighted that he's back. And he didn't take everybody else's shit and just fall for it. So good for him. And I'm delighted that he's got a podcast. I saw he had Eugene on.
Yes.
Which is, I think Eugene is just whoring himself out.
That's what we said in the office when we're like, hypo, Eugene Kwaza, you just go around podcast to podcast to podcast. Hey, is this what you do?
I'm going to have a chat with him on Monday and say to him, close your legs. Because it's embarrassing to your whole family, right? That's pretty much it. All right, so a couple of other comments here. Many years ago, I had a client, and during the birth of his baby, I asked what he did for a living. His answer was that he was an entrepreneur. Months later, he got busted for smuggling drugs and perlemoen. Yes, if someone says, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, that doesn't mean they're a good person. So, Simpiwe, don't believe everything you read. Go famous mama, I'm rooting for you, says Andy.
Okay.
Good. The Unati interview was great, says Carl. By the way, when she said, fill me up, I almost fell off my chair. Hectic. Well, you know.
She spoke a lot of truth.
She spoke a lot of truth. There were a lot of people hollering and yelling and supporting her the whole way through the conversation. All right, look who's here. It's Ben.
Hey, guys.
Wow. I'm here with you.
Just mute your microphone.
Okay, sorry.
Because you're already on. Don't worry. We've got it under control, Ben.
It's like I'm here.
That's cool.
I'm also
Don't run in here, Ryan. We don't need you. Get out. We're fine.
Thanks, Ryan. To be fair, he sees a pedestrian look at my face and he wants to literally show me how to sit in a chair.
Did you take the long walk through the gardens?
I wasn't expecting a long walk this morning, but it was beautiful.
It's nice, huh?
What is this place? Whose hacienda is this?
I know. Doesn't it look like California?
It looks like an entrepreneur has done well over generations.
Someone said,
and here we are.
Yeah. Someone said to me the other day, it looks like Pablo Escobar's house.
Like if he was good with money. Yeah.
If he was good with money. Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
You take a little walk through the garden and, you know, when we do our next event, we'll invite people and you can come along as well so you can see it. But you walk down this long sort of windy path and there are tree ferns and birds in the trees.
It's so nice.
And trees that must have been here for 100 years because they're enormous. And then you get to our house, which is called Malibu. And it looks like a house in Malibu that some Hollywood star should be living in.
It really does.
You kind of walk through the door and expect Elton John to be having a pool party. or like Miley Cyrus to have a bunch of her friends topless in the pool. Either way, it would be nice.
Yeah, like I don't want to sound like pessimistic, but a place like this in this country right now is normally a bit overgrown and a bit shitty. This place looks like it's still prosperous around here.
It's maintained. Like, we had to ask the leaf blower guy to please stop just so we could have meetings.
Yeah,
like there's nothing out of place here.
And then you guys are in like these studio lights. You're both beaming,
Right.
looking
But
radiant.
you look great, Ben. You
Yeah,
look
well,
amazing.
You don't have to say it because I've said that. I know I look like crap.
But
right? I've
people
had a
do
shitty
people
week.
do that,
Ugh.
right? So a girl was saying to me the other day when we were having this conversation, she is sick of people just throwing a compliment back at you. In fact, it could even have been on the show.
It's not paddle.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Take it. Own
When
it.
someone says something really nice to you, like, oh, you look great or whatever, you don't have to immediately say, oh, you too.
Yeah.
'Cause
well,
that's
wait,
not-
then what should you say?
Thank
Because
you.
like
just go, thank you.
And
like-
also,
it feels like thank you's not enough.
No,
well,
no, it's
must be.
perfect.
No,
It is-
you know what you must do? You must say thank you and own it with an awkward silence between both of you when you both claim it.
As if you are saying, oh, you're not. You must be
Yes,
prepared for
yes,
that to be
I
the
am.
interpretation. You must be, if someone says, oh, you're looking terrific, you must go,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you know the worst thing is, I think a lot of people give compliments because they haven't got one in a while. Like
Wow.
I
So they're
don't,
fishing for one.
They're
like,
fishing.
I don't need
Okay.
compliments. I think I'm enough for me. So I see you guys. I'm happy to see you. Like genuinely.
Mhm.
If you look like crap, I'd probably go, "Wow, Simpiwe, look at that tree behind you. Isn't that nice?"
What
Like,
are you trying to say,
I will
Ben?
be honest. So you've earned it. Own it.
Just by the way, I don't know if you heard the call we took just now from famous mama who's her husband died in the bed next to her in his 30s,
Oh wow.
and she woke up next to a dead body. So you know, however badly your Friday's going, like maybe you're stuck in traffic or someone's pissing you off or you've got to do some things today that you really don't want to do. At least you didn't wake up with a dead person next to you. That would be the shittiest way
No,
to
that's
start.
terrible.
Right? It's really
Makes for an awkward coffee
It's
straight
really
up. But
bad.
I mean, like, what was the more to the story?
no, it's just a horrible. Yeah, of course. We think she killed him.
Oh, okay.
And she got the inheritance, so
No. All right. So Ben, you shut the lights out last week with, first of all, having a better broadcast quality in your car than we've ever had from your office or your house, which tells you something about the towers, right?
yes.
Much better.
I mean,
LTE, 5G, whatever it is.
but
If
can
the
we also-
Chinese want to give us 5G and it's that good quality, I'm prepared for them knowing everything about our lives
Go for
part.
it.
You know,
Yeah.
because who doesn't need a signal? So first of all, that was a realization, but that was nothing compared to the bombshell that you dropped halfway through about how you've got back together with Daniela. You've decided you're each other's life partners. We don't want to delve if it's none of our business, but it sounds like a very adult situation. It sounds like a very mature acceptance of the fact that you two like being around each other and that you like doing stuff together, which, believe me, Simpiwe and I were just talking about this other friend of mine I had dinner with the other night. He looked around the restaurant, said there were miserable couples, just people sitting around looking at, their food, not talking. And he said, those people are people I don't want to be.
Exactly.
Because there are a lot of people who are together with someone else for all the wrong reasons. And maybe they haven't thought it through. Maybe they're just going through a tough time. Who knows? It's difficult to do this. You guys took a break from each other for however long, and you've decided you're going to give it another go.
Yeah, I got a lot of messages after that show.
Yeah, I'm
last week.
sure. Earth-shattering.
She got a lot of messages. I got a lot of messages. People are actually nice. Again, it goes back to the
Oh, so they weren't
compliments.
being shitty.
Oh.
No,
'Cause, you know,
and
people-
they weren't in your business to be like, what happened?
no one was kind of being shitty. Actually, It
Well,
was-
I do have one person around who's going to be shitty about this. Ryan, please bring Jane in. She's got some questions.
Jane-
She's
Jane looked so surprised when I walked in today.
yeah. Well, we haven't really revealed much to her. So, Jane, I don't know how much you know about
I
this.
feel like I'm being set up in one of those really bad reality shows.
Like, no. This is more like what's that show called? Not Jerry Springer.
Yeah.
Where he'd bring on like and here is the mother that you didn't know you had.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Mm.
Okay, well, here's the Jane that you wished you didn't have. But-
Jane, I know I have somewhere.
all right, so hello, Mum Jane.
Hi, Babaji.
How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Very
Jane,
good.
you're also looking good today. Jane,
Yeah, she is.
Is it the lights?
I'll tell you what it is.
The first time in my life, Ben, giving me like a nice.
And again, it's honest.
Yeah, you see, isn't that nice?
Like
Well,
it-
that's
it-
a nice way to start,
It
Jane.
looks like
Okay.
you're gonna own your Friday today. Jane.
I'm not here to grill you, Ben. You don't have to give me like a nice comment. I'm fine with you.
No,
Jane.
don't give me Corobella.
No.
Jane, if you ever think I'm ever scared of you or grilling, then you know.
Oh, okay. Come on, Ben. Bring it on. What do you have?
All right, so Jane, let's not get combative first thing in the morning.
Jane, let's not
Jane
be
is always prone to a fight.
Yes.
It's because she can handle herself. Like the other night, I sent Jane home to Alex after our event.
Yes.
She's like, just drop me at the Pan Africa Mall because I got an Uber. And I said, are you going to be all right from there? She's like, what do you think? You know where I live.
But you ask everyone. People, they know
Those
me
people are
and
going to be
Alex.
all right.
Yeah, that's exactly it. There was a trail of devastation from the Pan Africa Mall to Jane's house, but she was fine.
I was fine.
Yeah, no. All right, so Jane, the big reason that we wanted to bring you in here, I don't know how much you know about this, but guess what's happened in Ben's life?
I'm not dying.
No, he's not. He's not
I'm
got
happy about that.
I don't have a
actually.
month.
no AIDS, no cancer.
I'm fine.
But go on, tell Jane.
So Jane, the person that you think I was never good enough for, Daniela,
No, she hasn't died.
she hasn't died either.
You are back together.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
After a long extended period apart. Yeah. It's
So she finally found you, or you? Oh my God.
It was mutual. I think it was mutual, Jane. I think it was really mutual. I think we both became adults in our own way, in a good way.
So you want to tell me you and Daniela, you are back together and staying together?
Living together, we've got 3 cats together now. That's the real kicker.
Okay, so relax.
Jane, I've never seen you speechless before. Not
Papa,
handling this well.
No, like I can't.
You were very rude about Ben when he was with Daniela. You thought that she deserved better.
I looked
my
like
God.
shit back in those
I
days. though, so-
actually I need to apologize because I thought it's not your type. But when you're telling
You
me
thought Daniela was not his type.
yeah, because the way she's so damn hot.
Yeah, but you so this is what you used to do. She would say how amazing and beautiful and wonderful Daniela was. She loved Daniela, but she really thought that you were scum and that Daniela
I'm
was down, you were down market.
I'm also
from
trying
her.
to put the dots together.
Yeah.
So she wasn't my type, as in I
Yeah.
wasn't entitled to have that as a type.
Yes. Yes.
Sure, Papa,
You were so bad that
this
you
is
weren't
like-
even allowed to
I
have
tell
a
you.
type.
It's like a shock to me that you're back together and so she's here. She's no longer in Cape Town or
No, she
she's
goes
in.
to Cape Town in business. Like this week, she was there the whole week.
Yeah.
But no, we.
so I have just one question. So
Mm.
your relationship is perfect, like 100%.
No, I think
No
every
one's-
relationship- no one's
no
relationship
one-
is perfect.
no,
That's
I
Who
know.
is yours?
No, I understand that no one is perfect but in the relationship.
perfect
But
doesn't
going
mean-
back together, I know people they can find each other if they meant to be together. I
Mm.
understand that.
Mm.
That's the thing all the
And
time.
sometimes people get together, then I had a girlfriend. I was with her for 2 years. Then we broke up. Then we got back together for a little bit, but it didn't ultimately last very long. But sometimes you find you grow up, things change,
Yeah.
your priorities change.
Yeah.
You become a little more serious about certain things and
And
le-
sometimes
less
you need
worried about
space.
others.
Sometimes you need space for
sometimes you
each
need
other.
space,
Yeah.
sure.
Mm.
So I think this is good news, though, Jane. Right?
Oh my God, I'm so happy for you, Ben.
Thanks,
Oh.
Jane.
I can see that you are glowing
Oh.
because Daniela surrounds your life.
Well,
Look at you.
It's just a studio of glowing, huh?
Oh
Well,
my God.
but that's fair. This is also kind of growing up for you, Jane, because the old Jane would have been
You're lying.
unhappy about this. Yeah, she would have accused you of all kinds of things.
Babaji, let's be honest. Do you know that I loved Ben and Daniela together?
You did? Because you never gave us that impression.
No. You see, the main thing is like,
You basically would, when she walked in, you would pull her aside and you would ask her, and loud, we could all hear, what are you
Wasn't
doing
subtle.
with him?
Are you still with him?
Yeah. Can I intervene?
She clearly did not have your back.
No, she did not.
She's
So-
right behind it, though.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. As a peace offering,
Uh-huh.
maybe you can make Ben one of our special coffees so that he can feel more welcome.
yeah.
You know, that's such a good idea, Gareth.
Ben, this is like a good news for me, and I'm so
All right.
happy. I'm wishing you all the best,
Thanks, Jane.
you
Very
and
nice.
Daniela. And
Good.
yeah.
Thanks, Jane.
That's
Oh my
lovely.
God.
Isn't that beautiful?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
Very, very
but
nice.
it is kind of like one of those things that you talk about relationships a lot, and I always overanalyze things. And sometimes you stop and go, well, maybe my opinion about things when I was 25 isn't how I should live when I'm 41 or 42,
Absolutely.
which
And-
is what I'll be in December.
Jesus, 42,
Sure.
huh? That's
Yeah.
also, it's really, no, you're
Guys
going
are old, hey?
you're going to be taken off the shelf soon.
Yeah, I'm on that place now where there's that sticker saying 15% off because of the date.
Yeah. It's like someone sent me a picture of one of my first books and it was in the bargain bin. I was like,
In the
oh,
Free State.
shit. Yeah. That's how I know I could be in the bargain bin soon. All right, Jane, thank you very much.
Thank
There
you
we
so
go.
much for inviting me, Ben.
Ah,
Good
no,
to
it's
see
very
you.
It's actually good to see you.
Very, very nice.
Normally,
This
it's
is-
not normally something that I'd ever say, but
I know, this is great.
Here it is.
This shows there's growth on all sides.
yeah, I didn't get any shitty messages because,
That's good.
like, when you're a guy
Mhm.
and a guy breaks up with a girlfriend, what do you do as a guy? You're supportive, right?
Hmm.
Wasn't meant to be. She's not the
Yeah,
one. Blah
yeah,
blah.
yeah.
And then the general guy rule.
What's wrong?
Sorry, Ryan, am I messing all of this up?
Ryan is very particular about
Which is what it should be, really.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm
all right.
in a
So
better
there we
mic
go. Now
position.
we've- yeah.
You know what?
So-
I think I was obscuring my face.
better mic
Sorry.
position.
There we go.
It's because normally I look at the screen, right? Now I'm looking at you as people.
Do we
Now I
want
have to
a
get this-
screen on
so I've
behind you?
gotta
No,
do
we don't.
both.
Yeah, we can keep that on behind you. It's fine. It looks better. These lights we're going to put up on. Let me give you a little interior decorating picture of what's going to happen here.
Mhm.
So we're doing this whole wall behind me at some point in the next week or so. We're gonna dress up this wall nicely because it looks like a bit haphazard at the moment. We're going to mount these lights beautifully on the wall, higher up, so we don't have to look like in Simpiwe's picture. You see this behind her. I don't like that.
I'm looking like a halo.
She looks like she's got the light of Jesus coming down from the heavens onto her head. And then we're going to put proper HD cameras in that will operate themselves. They're almost like they will be automated. So we won't have to switch cameras. It'll all do that itself.
So there's no Ryan. Does he get the flick?
We're
then?
no, he's still going to be here. Ryan is essential because he's got to make sure that everything here is happening every morning. Without him, the show doesn't go on. And I hope Jane was listening carefully when I did say she can make you a coffee, because otherwise it was all
No,
performance.
she's not making me coffee. She's walked right out of there. So just to finish off that train of thought, it's like, you know, when you're a guy and then your friends kind of want to be supportive and you would get back together with somebody, the default reaction for all guys, this guy code, of course, is like, it's probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure when you're a guy to kind of consider these kind of thoughts, but none of that enters my head right now. I just feel like in a very good place, in a very natural place. Because as a guy, you also want to be the best person you can be, right?
Absolutely.
And what are the factors that make that happen? So healthy living, exercise, try to get a lot of sleep, be with people who you're happy with.
Well, I didn't
These are
say
all-
anything. I saw you and Daniela in Cape Town when we were there just before New Year. And I was thrilled to see her. And we had a really fun time. And I just thought none of my business to share this with anybody because I didn't know where it was going. Also just thought maybe you were just visiting, you know? So I'm glad.
Yeah, well, so am I.
Very glad.
I'm glad to be here on Friday.
Parallel Parking says you look fabulous for 42, Ben. Keep taking good care of yourself.
Well, 41.
Uh,
Yeah, I had a bad accident on Friday, and I've had a shitty week as a result.
Oh, why?
I got stitches for the first time in my life on Friday. Friday was a day, hey?
Oh,
Yo,
on your
wait,
leg.
So,
Yeah.
whoa, the same Friday where there was things with the keys, you were
Yes.
going up and down, is
Yes.
the Friday where you then got stitches.
So from the tumultuous show, I had a day of work, and then I went for a normal workout. I got this great outdoor workout, and it was so hot on Friday, and I was feeling pretty flat from not getting much sleep. And then I was doing box jumps, which is what I do because it's me I'm confident with. It was right at the end of the workout. So I do like 10 sets of 10 amongst other stuff.
Jeez, all
And
right.
there are these people that walk dogs. And I like that because it feels natural. You know, you got dogs walking. It's all very social and gentle. And then this guy gets out of his car, okay, but he's like 5 meters away from me. And for some reason, at the top of his voice, he shouts to his friends, "The Germans are here."
What?
As in like a joke, you know, because it's like maybe that's his friends and he's the
Oh.
German in the group or whatever.
But normally, I mean, that puts anyone who,
an odd-
even if your grandfather fought on the Allied side, it makes you nervous.
an odd thing
Because
to
you
say,
think,
right?
"It's the Germans, you're like, quickly, off to the bunkers.
But that's it.
Call the RAF.
It was a very odd thing to hear
It's the Germans.
out of nowhere. And
Jesus.
as it happened, I got to the top of the jump and I'm jumping on concrete and I just clipped my toe on this thing.
Oh, well, you were thinking about Hitler.
Well, and then I plowed straight into this scraggly piece of concrete block. And it was probably the most painful blow that I've taken. And
Ow.
I was lying there like writhing in pain. I can't really put pressure on my legs. It's so sore. And this guy just saunters past me with his ugly dog. Doesn't say anything like, "Can I help you?"
Is this the guy who called out for the
Yeah,
Germans?
Yeah. Some other guy's literally a meter from me on his
What
bike.
kind of dogs did he have? German Shepherds?
No, he had
Oh.
like a real uppity excuse of a basset, really.
Hmm.
It was terrible. So then I hobbled all the way to get my bag to call an Uber. Like 40 meters, I'm hobbling,
Jesus.
and all these smug dog people are just looking
Yeah.
at me.
No, they
Not
know
like,
help.
"Can I
They
help
won't
you?"
help. No, they won't help you.
So I got home and my wound was terrible. I had a bath because I'm all sweaty and dirty. And then, I was so deflated.
When you have a day like that, don't you sometimes feel like you actually just want to go to bed?
I did.
Start the day again.
I did. So
It's a disaster.
So then I called Danielle and she's like, okay, well, show me the wound. So I've done what I thought was cleaning. So she's like, okay, so you want to go to bed and get gangrene.
Yeah, you didn't do a good job.
Like, what do you mean? It's like, well, you've got to get all the old blood out.
But also, there's a difference between like a surface wound that you can just leave and one that needs stitches. Right.
Well, so that was it.
The stitches one is a serious one.
I've never had stitches.
And you had how many?
before.
2?
I had 4 on the right and 2 on the left.
This must have been a
Proper cuts, though.
No.
So she's now directing me around the apartment, which prior to this didn't have a lot of things in the medical sort of sense, right? So now she's telling me to go into these drawers and get certain things, and then there was only one cotton swab left. So the cotton swab is obviously very good because you need to really get in there. And there was only one, and I got these gaping wounds.
Oh my God.
So she's like, okay, go into this other drawer. I then spent the next 30 minutes basically with bloody panty liners, because panty liners is actually
good at absorbing.
they're very good.
They're
But
the
how long
best.
did you just keep bleeding?
Quite a lot, actually. I totally underestimated how
So
bad they were.
did you start feeling faint?
Very.
No. So you could have died, actually.
If I'd gone to bed like that, I probably could have died.
You would have
And
bled out.
thankfully, her call was timely. And then after that, I did the sensible thing of messaging Dr. Wood, and he said, "Yeah, you need stitches." Yeah.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
after dabbling with panty liners on a Friday night,
Jeez, what a lot of fun for you. What a great weekend.
absolute pain. I then got stitches on Saturday morning, and that was my whole weekend.
So
Screwed.
you made it through the night.
I did, obviously, because I had a decent sort of
Yeah, and the
bandaging.
panty liners helped.
And I was given assurance that the wound cleaning was actually very good by the doctor in the morning, Mrs. Wood.
This is another good reason why you should be in a relationship if you're a guy on your own, because how will you have panty liners if you're not in a relationship? What guy
There
keeps
is a
those?
stat that says men live longer when they are married.
Yes, that's true.
Because
Yeah.
the woman.
Because they won't die bleeding out because they don't have panty liners.
I
to
could
use as a
have I
bandage.
could have lost
You
a
could have
leg
died.
on the back of just being grumpy.
Imagine
and
having
not
a
thorough.
peg leg.
Limping all the time.
Yes.
This whole week I've limped. Like these stitches, they're no joke because it's like really on the bones. They got to be quite tight. I haven't been able to sleep because the moment I move, I'm in pain. Oh, it's just like last Friday was a day. It was just a day, but
That sounds horrific.
getting better.
Tracy says, I have family with the surname Black. So whenever they're coming over for a visit, I say the Blacks are coming.
Oh,
And then you can imagine like her white neighbors like, oh, Jesus, I knew this was going to happen. All right. Well, hell of a story. A lot of people saying here, wow, Ben, what a day. This is a hell of a story.
No exercise for an entire week. So yeah,
oh no, that's horrible.
it is.
Now I feel your pain
Wow.
on that.
Boiled
It is.
Prawn Shack says, I almost tore my nipple off
What?
on Monday morning.
What? Wait, what's the story behind that?
Also with the
8
box jump.
8 stitches later, the freakiest of all freak accidents. True story. Jesus.
No,
I think that,
No, no, no,
requires
wait.
that
Hang on a
requires a
second.
call.
You can't just say freak accident. How do you get something sharp around your nipples?
And how do you almost tear it off? 8 stitches around the nipples. That's more than you've got in your leg. That would have caused some severe bleeding.
Like I've gone through 4 and 2, and that was quite something. So how do you get 8 around the nipple? You can't just drop that. Oh, freak accident. What? You walk into a doorknob that was aggressive.
Oh my God. All right, you can call us though, 083-295-5769. The number's up on the screen if you're watching us on the YouTube. Also like and subscribe and all that stuff. We need everybody joining in on this stuff. Wen says, our neighbor cut his leg, left it for 7 days and landed in hospital on antibiotics with a massive infection.
You left it for 7 days.
Yeah.
You guys are not serious about your lives. You don't love yourselves. What the hell? You cut your...
Well, Congo Chris being, for the first time ever, it sounds like he's being quite considerate. He says, you see, Ben, this is why I was worried about your frantic behavior last week.
Yeah.
When you're rushing around in a hurricane mindset, accidents are bound to happen. I'm glad you're okay, though.
Exactly. Got to still the hurricane. You're right, Chris.
That's right. That's right. So if you want to call us, you can get hold of us on 083-295-5769. I like this idea of taking these calls. It makes all the difference to the show. I love it. Ben, if you'd lost your leg, says Carl, Daniela would have binned you again. Don't fuck this up again.
And I would have had myself to blame. So yeah.
I think it would have been worse. You would have
Fair
been
point.
dead.
Well, I would have been
dead.
legless.
No.
Single and legless. You don't bounce back
Oh
from
my God. No, you would have just got fat and and comfort eaten your way to death.
The cats probably would have eaten me.
Probably.
Yeah. No,
Did they hang around, especially while you were bleeding? Were they especially interested? They were really interested.
Yeah.
So they're ready to just, if something happens.
Because people, I mean, everybody thinks that, oh, my cats love me, but they will try to eat you if you die.
Meowsers loves me, but I think when she gets hungry, she'll also eat me. But she'll do it out of love.
But
Is
there's
that how
no
you
doubt.
console yourself? She'll do
But
it out
it'll
of
still
love.
be with her teeth.
You will be eaten. No. All right. Well, there are a couple of things that we do want to talk about this morning. Ben says he wants to mention the UFC, and actually we had a comment earlier about the UFC, which is worth discussing here. Let me just get to this first, because this could be a very good point. So here's from Ricky. Ben, a shout out to SA Warriors this weekend. Try to keep it short, please. It seems like we're the only two people who love the UFC.
Yeah, fuck him, Ricky. It's all about us.
I went to UFC 284, one of the best experiences of my life. All right, so tell us about
Why
this.
does that sound like a prison cell? UFC 284.
It
Ultimate
does.
Fighting Championship, and then 284 is a number of events. So once a month, there's the big event, and a title goes down. So every week there's UFC. They have UFC Fight Night, they have UFC Vegas, whatever it is. They're fighting all the time, these sucks. They're always fighting.
Fighting.
But this one's special. So,
like 4 ways.
as you know, like Drickus du Plessis and Cameron Simon are two South African guys in the UFC, which is a huge deal. It's the highest of your sport. So, of all the people who fight in the world, they're in the top level. And
Amazing.
Drickus is on the absolute top level because he's fighting against the 5th ranked guy, Derek Brunson.
Wow.
So, if he beats him, Drickus is then the 5th middleweight in the whole world, which means he's closer and closer to the title. And once you get to like title status, like this is the rarefied atmosphere of being elite of elite of elite. So I mean,
Jesus.
Ricky, I don't have much to say. I got to be honest with you. I'm just so damn excited for these guys, how they've kept the trajectory going.
So what's next for Drickus, for example? I mean,
so it gets difficult because you've got to fight. You're always trying to fight someone above you,
right? So
and
you
that's
can
how
move up
you
in
can
the
keep
rank.
moving up. So
Right.
if Drickus he's on
It's
a
like
great trajectory.
like I always say, you got to sleep with people who are better looking than you.
Absolutely.
Then you get better looking.
Yes.
If you sleep with people who are uglier than you get uglier.
Well, there we go. That's the best analogy for UFC.
Yeah. So it's exactly the same thing.
I mean, you've only got so many punches and so many like knockouts and these kind of things to or against. So your fights are so important. Like, so they have matchmakers. There's an actual person in the sport called a matchmaker, because these fights aren't just like, okay, this is my job. It is your career path that you're plotting. So with Cameron, he's obviously fighting guys like him at the moment, quite inexperienced, quite novice
he's
levels.
quite young, right, compared to Drickus.
Well, yeah, he's 21, 22.
Yeah.
So he's only in his second fight for the UFC. So he'll be on the early prelims. And then Drickus, Derek Brunson's on his way out. He's kind of fought everyone from coming down. And he's older. He's got kids, very different life stage. Drickus has actually sparred with him before. They used to fight at Henry Hoof's gym, Sanford, which is now Killcliff's gym. And they know each other. So now Henry Hoof, who basically helps Drickus when he goes over there, he's like, guys, I'm not helping any of you. I'm out of this one.
Oh, because he's
neutral.
because he
knows
doesn't want
both
to
of them.
choose sides, right?
And the thing about Drickus is that this dude, I mean, we must get him in at some stage. He's got this absolute endless energy, and he's just so
I met him with
forward-thinking.
you last year. We all
Yeah.
watched the rugby together, and he's a very cool guy.
Like, if you ever want to talk to someone who knows their world and is absolutely unwavering about what it means to be great, it's him. He's such a great example of that. And people think like fighters are fighters. This dude's IQ and just smarts around
he's
his
very
world
smart.
is incredible. So he knows this guy. And because Brunson's like not exactly like a big wow sort of guy who talks shit and get all the headlines, he's like, yeah, I'm fighting this guy, whatever. And the media are always going to go talk about the main fight because John Jones, the greatest of all time, he's fighting again for the first time in 3 years.
Sure.
So that's what makes this card so interesting. But then, yeah, Drickus is fighting this dude. He's a grappler. He's a wrestler. He'll try to take things to the floor. And Drickus has got all the capabilities. And it's just so great to know that he gets tested and he just keeps going on the up and up. So that'll be, I think, around 6 a.m. Sunday morning to watch that.
All right.
That's
well,
not good. No.
no.
Sorry.
You just thought you saw Gord.
This guy walked by and
Yeah.
the studio light hit him in a certain way. It looked like Gord. About
No.
a year ago.
Ben Abbott says the end of my finger popped off. I think we're comparing like injuries here on the show.
But everyone has them, right?
Yeah.
I posted this picture about my legs, and then it was like 10 pictures of people who did box jumps who have also been injured.
Well, Ben says his end of his finger popped off 6 weeks back. His brother found the piece a few hours later and under a forklift that had fallen on it. Jesus. But you know, they always tell you should get the other piece because they can usually sew it back on.
They can. In a certain time period, they can do.
I mean, there are people who say you should put it in ice
Yes.
and then drive to the hospital, and they
Yeah.
can usually reattach it.
Don't let dogs eat it.
No,
Like that.
Don't touch it too much.
and try not to mangle it further, in the process. But this is what's fascinating about medicine. Okay. He has such a winning mentality. Ricky just wants to climb in again on the UFC. This is Drickus. He seems like an incredible hard worker. Apparently 3 weeks before the US events, they practice 3 a.m. to climatize the US time zones.
They do. They actually train like they're in Vegas already. And
Amazing.
so a championship fight is 5 rounds. So Drickus is fighting 3 rounds because it's non-championship. But when they train, they do 10 rounds towards the end.
Damn.
So that there's never any sort of doubt about the fact that they go the distance.
All right, it is 7 o'clock. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, we will have a whole lot more for you. Stick around, cliffcentral.com. Friday morning.
6
Hooray.
minutes after 10, they've sent out the press release. We fired the bitch. First person I call is my mom. She's like, you're going to sue them. I said, no, I'm not. She says, you're going to sue them. I said, no, I'm not. You're going to use this constitution that we have, which is one of the best in the world, and you're going to sue. Do you hear me? So I go, Ewema. David calls me. He says, Mom and Dad have spoken to me. They've told me you don't want to sue. They're telling me that you are going to sue. So we're suing. My dad was like, you're not going to touch them for at least a year. So I'm like, why? He's like,
I just know.
no, he said it. He said they're going to turn on each other. I'm like, Daddy, there's no way they're going to turn on each other. He said to me, Mdanam, our people have told me that I must tell you, you're going to wait a year and let them turn on each other. So when they fired Sbongile, my dad said, now you can go.
to break free. I want to break free. Time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the world.
This week on the Auto Trader podcast.
I know somebody who I actually work with was telling me about the time when lightning struck their house, and essentially all the plugs got fried. And because they didn't have those little red, I don't know what it's called, but those plugs which
Was a requirement by the insurance.
was required by the insurance, and every single appliance got destroyed, but they didn't pay out. And I was like, what? That seems like something that should be kind of at least discussed.
Yeah.
So just read those terms and conditions and see what's going on there.
Catch us every Monday at 9 a.m. on YouTube and on autotrader.co.za.
All right, we are live Friday morning, cliffcentral.com. Lots of things to talk about now. People are all comparing their injuries.
Everyone's got one.
This is what happens. Someone hurts themselves, and instead of, like we were talking about a compliment earlier, and people just going, thank you, or, oh, I'm sorry you hurt your leg. No, they have to go,
Me too.
let me tell you my horrible story. But some of these are pretty damn good. Justice Lissilo says, I banged my right thumb when I was closing the car door. And the whole week it was like saying, shop. That must be one of the most sore things. Oh my God. In the car door.
Yeah, but you know, like life's full of, you need perspective, right? So this week I interviewed a para bobslayer.
Oh, wow.
So this guy's got no legs, hasn't had legs since the age of 12.
You can handle your stitches.
Here's me limping in with my little bitchy stitches. This guy's story was quite something.
Oh my God. No, it's horrible. Okay, I'm the king of freak accidents, says Boiled Prawn Shack. Worst one was in my 20s when I tried getting out of bed quietly after a hookup. I broke 3 bones in my foot and had to get surgery. Again, that must have been
there needs
so
to be a layer of the sentence. Like, did you fall on a weight? Did you fall off like a mezzanine floor. Like,
Was her bed 3 meters high?
Like, what?
did she get angry and club you with like a baseball? Like that? Like
And imagine like you trying to leave and like whoop, now
like-
you've
it's
broken
like-
your foot.
And how embarrassing, because she knows you were trying to leave. What's her reaction to that going to be?
Oh, you son of a bitch. Well,
It's
you
like-
can just
Right.
lay there in pain.
it's like people being on the Titanic and going, I was trying to go to America, I just didn't quite get there.
Jesus. Unbelievable. All right. So apparently there was an airline passenger who said he was served a single banana as his entire vegan meal in business class
Mhm.
on a plane.
Yes.
Now, we love this, but we love this because we're not very sympathetic to vegans. But what are you supposed to do with a vegan in the sky? I mean, they're not going to prepare very complicated meals, and neither should they.
You get those pre-made things. There's probably vegan air. There's probably a company of
Vegan air.
There's probably a company with some overindulged housewife that she's knocking out vegan foods for air
You
travel.
think so? Tell us the story quickly.
So I don't feel sorry for this particular passenger because I'm just like, number one, you are vegan.
Right.
But number two, compared to everybody else, I was just like, I'm not sure if this business class is really business classing. You know what I mean? Because they got
Yeah. I mean, if you pay for a business class ticket, even if you're a vegan, you expect certain
Yes.
certain luxuries.
and what other passengers got were prawns and tuna.
Oh wow. Okay, so they upped the ante on the other people and then gave this poor motherfucker a banana.
And they just
Wasn't even peeled.
no, it wasn't.
Wasn't
but
cut.
they did give him a fork and
Oh.
knife. So he could dip it. And that was the only thing they served this particular passenger the
Oh.
entire flight. They didn't even have like other things to be like, here's snacks, here's
Jeez.
strawberries, here's this. No, it was one single banana for the entire flight. So more of the story, don't be a vegan, guys, and don't go on
Yeah,
airplanes.
that's just, I mean, what do you expect from the airline? But at the same time, I do kind of feel that if, business class ticket these days is expensive, especially if you're doing an international flight. It can be hundreds of thousands of rands. And if I got a banana for that, I'd be
for the
pretty pissed
entire
off.
flight.
Right,
Not
that's
even
right.
bananas, one banana.
I think it would almost be funny if you do dress it up. You cut it up, you drizzle honey over it, you like dust an almond on top, and then you give one of those pretentious little cake forks.
Yeah. And say, enjoy your meal, sir. I mean, what do you say? Imagine if they just slapped it down, unpeeled banana, just there. That's what you want. There we go.
Thanks, Jane.
Oh.
That looks like a lovely cup of coffee.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Jane. Okay, so still people going on about their terrible, terrible injuries. Jason Stiles says, I lost a nipple ring while surfing. I didn't realize I was bleeding in the water until someone said, you're bleeding. Imagine having a nipple ring ripped out. That is always the number one reason why I would never get any piercings as a kid or as a teenager.
Can we just go through the pros of nipple rings?
No, there aren't very many.
I mean,
Oh, wait, it seems like you're a pro.
no, not at all. It's just that we've had 2 nipple injuries in the show so far. And it's a very sensitive
it's
area.
a sensitive part of the body. I mean, especially if you're a girl, but like guys also have sensitive nipples, right?
Yeah, and it's like one of
No.
the
But it-
piercings that take the longest to heal.
I
from what
get
I've
that.
heard.
I get that. Hey, George, I get that. But what is the pro? Is it like one of those erogenous zones? Do some people just
I
have
think
like
that's
extra?
part of it.
Because the sensitivity,
I think
but there's
that's part
other
of
things that you can do.
Okay, just George, don't come in here and ruin our show. What are you doing, George?
It's a whole new level of the show now.
Just
His face is just like, I don't know what I just did.
What is it?
Come
This
here and
embarrassing
sit
shit.
down and-
George, come on. You're meant to be the professional. Every morning when we come to you on a Friday, you've got your studio set up. It's all good sound on your microphone. This morning, it's like it's chaos here.
In fairness, I think
You're
Ryan
doing
does it on purpose because then he's like, okay, fine.
Gives
Now
himself
you need
to
me.
Yeah,
I need to be in the studio.
Ever
Ryan,
since you
stop
said-
making yourself important. Get out.
Ever
We've had to
since
tell
you
you this
said-
twice already.
Gareth, you said those cameras are going to be automated. Ryan's working harder now.
I know.
The machines are coming for me. I'm going to make George look like a doers for 2 minutes, and then you'll never fire me.
How's it, George?
Hey, morning. How's it been? Nice
All right.
Simphiwe.
So we were talking about injuries. George, you ever had a horrible injury?
I had one this week.
Or is
what's going
it
on
embarrassing
this
or horrible
week?
or both?
It's because the moon's in someone's Venus or something.
No,
No.
the moon is in your anus. That's a pretty horrible injury.
Moon is in Uranus. Well, no, I mean, I didn't have an injury, but I did something stupid. I was at the E-Fest last
You don't
week.
look like someone who does stupid things a lot.
Well, you went to
No,
the E-Fest.
no,
I mean, this
well,
is uncharted territory for many people.
Exactly.
Who knows what goes on there?
Oh yeah, no. All right. So what happened?
So I took protein shakes with me in powder form in little vials. Put it in my bag. Went to Cape Town.
Did they not arrest you at the airport for that, thinking it was
No.
drugs?
International airport, I won't try it.
Yeah.
But
Because I would definitely expect that to be a way people would ferry drugs.
Yes.
for sure, I reckon.
Yeah, but George is in shape though, so you can
Yeah,
correlate
that-
between the two.
But that's
If
exactly
you're
why.
out of shape with protein powder,
Yeah.
you look
Then
at
you
you
got
go,
problems.
are you trying to kid?
What do you?
Drop your rods, we're checking
No,
your notes.
I'd be very afraid. I'd be like, excuse me, sir, I can't get healthy. Is that what you're saying? Mhm.
Simphiwe, I think it's a fair point that you do make.
Uh,
Sorry, what was that? Were you just checking someone's backside? What?
you said something about the moon, Uranus.
So what happened?
So I was in the hotel room and I had finished the bottled water that was there. It was like 8:30 p.m. at night, a Thursday night. And I decided, well, I wanted to have my protein shake and there wasn't any more water. I wasn't going to go out to reception and do all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I used tap water in
Oh.
Cape Town.
Uh-oh. Is that not a good
Mistake
thing?
number one.
Not right now.
Oh, mistake number one.
Are you not meant to drink the water?
No, not at all. It's
They've-
very dangerous.
They've
Chief.
put a notice out saying
Very, very
the
dangerous.
water's contaminated.
E. coli.
Yeah, well, you can get cholera.
Oh my. In Cape Town? I thought they were the most advanced place in Africa. What's this all about?
Me too. This is
What is the heart?
This is-
So,
astonishing.
anyway, I knocked one of those protein shakes back, went to bed. Next morning,
Yeah.
woke up, had another one,
Sure.
as you do, and then from the weekend, I started getting stomach
Oh,
cramps.
George.
Well, not cramps. My stomach was burning.
So you-
Absolutely
God.
burning.
you went for the race, and by the time it comes race time,
Well, I was man down from Monday, so just none of that happened though, Gareth. It
No?
wasn't a stomach bug.
Oh. No, it
Um,
wasn't a stomach bug. It was cholera in the water.
so fast forward to Tuesday morning, and I can hardly walk. I'm bent over. I'm totally
but
man down.
not diarrhea or constipation.
Nothing. No
This is like
vomiting.
inside the stomach.
Between your belly button and your rib cage, the pain was excruciating.
I'm guessing you would rather have the squirts because then you know something's
could-
happening.
You
this
could
just
at least
sounds
clear
like
what it sounds almost like you've got like a ball of lead in your stomach.
it's
or
like your
something.
stomach's being held hostage
Yeah.
by all of this.
Yes, by the protein,
I've-
angry protein shake.
I
protein's been
realized this week
compromised.
that your stomach and your arsehole are the boss.
Yes, yes. This is true. If there is something with the gut that is everything else shuts down, everything else goes. Sorry,
Yes.
we're not arguing
not
with this
arguing.
guy.
No.
If the gut's not happy, the rest of you is deeply unhappy.
I was not happy. So I go to the doctor on Tuesday. Actually, sorry, I went to the doctor Monday. I went to the doctor on Monday, and she gave me a drug called Trustan, which is an acid.
Nice name because you're looking for that.
Yeah, Trustan.
Trust.
That's what I
Which is
need.
an acid
I need something I can believe in.
inhibitor. Because she says,
So was this severe acid reflux?
it was. So she said it could be a couple of things, but definitely the burning and where the pain is something to do with my stomach lining.
Not an ulcer?
It could have been an ulcer.
Oh my
Sure,
god!
stomach lines are tough because they're not very big.
Mm.
And you mess that up. It's not like you got more.
No.
You don't just regrow another layer.
Well, producer Ryan says that is why I drink Coke only. Ain't nobody got time for that. Well, Ryan, that's also not a very.
It's not healthy.
No, not at all.
And Dr. Mark has told us that it's not healthy. Like,
Right.
you're going to die, Chief. So
Yeah.
drink
Stop
your
it.
water.
So
Let
George,
him and his diabetes had work around that.
something like acid, or a tear in the stomach lining or something like that. That doesn't sound like something would be caused by the water in Cape Town. No matter how horrible that water
No.
is, it doesn't have actual things with chainsaws in them, like trying to make their way through your stomach lining.
No,
So-
no. So the doctor said it could be anything. At that point, I didn't realize, I didn't put two and two together that the water was the only thing that changed in my diet, because I usually only drink bottled water. I don't drink tap
No,
water.
you're
But
way
this-
you're way too fancy
But yeah,
to drink
way
that.
I mean,
Is
he
this the
is
same
George
kind of-
Mienie.
I
Is this
drink
the same
tap
kind of
water. You drink
protein?
tap water?
Yeah, I guess. I
In
do.
Joburg, yeah.
The only reason I don't at home is because my JoJo tanks that get water in, I'm scared that there's bacteria that kind of
Fair.
accumulates in there.
I would have thought you were the kind of guy who would have got a UV filter already.
No,
on
no, I
that
don't
shit.
have one of those.
No?
I generally always boil stuff and then put it because I drink a lot of electrolytes.
Yeah. Well, that would have killed,
like a
but
boiled
probably hurt me.
But like, has this been the same whey protein or that you've been using for a while?
Yeah,
You didn't
yeah.
try something different at Discam.
Of
So
some
George,
nutrition.
it had to be the water.
It had to
had
have
to be
been
the
the
water.
water.
It's not like months and months of eating sour worms.
or broccoli.
Because that could, I mean, you're not going to develop a huge acid problem overnight.
Well, listen. I mean, hear the rest of the story. So
There's always more.
Yeah, there's always more. So, so the doctor gives me this trust.
Are you dying, George? Have you
No,
come
no,
in?
I'm
Have
not
you come
dying.
into the studio this
How many
morning?
days do you have left?
I
Have you come in
thought
to
I
tell
was
us that this
dying.
is your last week
I
on
thought
Earth?
I was
you know?
dying. So the doctor gives me this trust stand. I take one of those at about 1 o'clock. About 2 hours later, I was like, this is just getting worse. This is not helping. Go back to the doctor. I said, so where's that drip you said that you could put me on? So I lie there. They put a Nexium drip in my arm. And I leave, and it's just not getting better.
Oh my God, George,
Monday night.
This is day 5.
Yeah, day 4. The Monday night, I didn't sleep. Tuesday morning, I wake up. I check myself into casualty because now I'm like,
You're
I
going
can't.
to die.
And I'm not the kind of person that goes to hospital very easily. I check myself into casualty, and I probably had one of the best casualty doctors you could have, because he said to me, he said, okay, I'm going to put you on some serious pain drugs, but I need to take 6 vials of blood because I want to do a full blood panel, and I want to check all your organs to isolate your stomach.
6 vials of blood. The guy's was his
Doesn't
surname
cheat.
Dracula. Nosferatu. I just need 6 vials of your blood.
Did he take a lock of your hair as well?
Yeah. Stool sample.
Well, that's one of the ways to check your gut, I
Yeah.
think.
Oh, definitely. Everything comes out one end, goes in the other.
So he takes these 6 vials of blood. They stick the pain drugs into my arm. I mean, just look at
Yeah,
that.
you've got a bruise.
You've got a big bruise there, 2 holes there.
George, you've had a horrible week.
I've had a horrible week. That's why I
Yeah,
say
Ben was
injuries.
complaining about his week, but you,
I'm done.
yeah,
I'm done. I'm stepping aside.
this
here.
is like when you met the paraplegic guy. Much worse on George's front.
So 20 minutes later, Gareth, I thought I was in heaven. The pain was gone.
Oh, nice pain drug.
It was like, oh, this is what life should be like. Anyway, so I'm laying there.
That's why people get addicted to those opiates in America.
I'll tell you about the opiates in a
Big
second.
problem.
Because there's more.
Shit. Let me get comfy. This story is getting juicy.
Congo Chris just wants to throw this in. George, when you die from explosive shits, can I have your cars, please?
Yeah, when you clean it.
All right. Yeah. Because George will die. Knowing George, he's such a car guy. He will die in the car rather than die in the bed.
Probably.
All right. So what happened then?
So they go and they eliminate the other organs. I thought this was a brilliant doctor because he said, okay, I'm going to check kidney, liver, pancreas,
Right.
gallbladder, did sonars. Like within like 2 or 3 hours, he had checked every organ.
Is this because he saw your car driving in? Because it sounds like this guy
It's
is
expensive, right? Yeah.
this
He
sounds
must say,
expensive. He's like,
the CEO of Auto Trader. Oh, let me
Gotta be
charge.
extra
if
good.
I'd rolled in, the guy would have said cough 3 times and have an aspirin.
Yeah.
And go home.
Ben, they would have just sent him
I
away with a suppository.
I said to him, I'm not going home until this pain's gone. So he checks all the other organs, blood panel comes back, everything's perfect, liver function, everything's in the right
must have
parameters.
been relieved about
I was
that.
relieved about that, yeah. So I thought maybe liver. I don't know what the hell's going on in there.
Oh, it's all that heavy drinking.
Yeah, jeez, I mean, so he says to me, okay, I've eliminated all the organs. It is your stomach. So that's what he's done. He says to me, it can only be one of 3 things. Either you've got an infection of the lining of your stomach, or you've got an ulcer, or you've got some bacteria that apparently can proliferate inside the lining of your stomach. I don't know what it's called. I can't remember the name.
And at this stage, he's saying, I'm just going to go spend 3 hours in my new Porsche while I digest all of this, and then I'll come back and run some more tests.
So what was it? You're killing us with the suspension here.
You're a great
And I'm not talking about the car
storyteller.
suspension.
So he says to me, the only way to tell definitively is to put a camera down your throat.
Oh boy.
So you can't tell what's inside your stomach. You can't tell if there's an ulcer. You can't
There
tell
really was more to the story.
to put a camera down your throat. I said to him, is there any way to avoid that? Because apparently you got
Then
to
he
do
went
it
to his office
conscious.
and looked at what the most expensive treatments he could find
He's
were.
phoning people from Switzerland at this stage.
It's like, guys, I got a massively wealthy dude in here. Let's just charge. What else can we find to like stick down his throat or up his asshole and check that something's got to be wrong.
They weren't going to stick anything in any orifice in my body.
So you just said no to the
No,
camera?
well, I said to him, okay, are there any other alternatives? I really don't feel like a scope right now.
No, it's because it's horrible.
Yeah, you got to be awake for that thing, apparently.
Oh. And of course,
Oh,
anything
half
goes
awake.
down your throat, you're going to
You're gonna
gag.
gag
And,
and- So he says to me,
poor
right,
George.
he says, chances that it's an ulcer is low. He said, because ulcers don't come on overnight. They take apparently weeks or months
No.
to come on. So he says to me, you can go home if the pain meds are working. And if the pain comes back in 3 or 4 days, then you're going to have a scope.
Oh,
So I go home Tuesday night. I'm okay. Pain's there. I go back to him on Wednesday morning because the pain returned by the Wednesday morning.
oh.
So now
This
you-
was
now
day
you're
before
thinking-
yesterday.
Now you're thinking scope. It's
Now I'm
scope time.
thinking scope time.
Yeah.
So he says to me, out of 10, how was the pain on yesterday morning versus how's the pain now? I said to him, it's probably about a 5 out of 10 now, whereas it was a flipping 12 out of 10 yesterday. He says, okay. He says, I'm going to give you a strong, broad spectrum antibiotic. I still don't think it's an ulcer. And I'm
After
gonna-
all these tests and charging, no doubt, like a wounded buffalo, he just gives you a general antibiotic, which your GP could have given you.
well, he gave me an antibiotic that apparently fights this bacteria that might be there, but it also fights other stuff. So he gives me this antibiotic and he gives me an opioid.
Oh, tell me about that.
So I still haven't taken the opioid.
Oh, you're keeping it for another day. I got you.
I didn't
When
want
you're
to.
having a rough day. All right.
So anyway, so it's actually gone since Wednesday. It's
just died out itself
well,
because
it
of the antibiotic.
must have been
obviously.
the antibiotic. Yeah.
So Cape Town water is so bad that it can reduce a fit, healthy person like George to a misery in a week.
I think it was that. I definitely. do.
God, that is bad. I hope that listen, Cape Townians, if this is the first you're hearing this, please, for God's sake, boil your water.
Just Carl's adding in here. Surprise, surprise. Has had a man put something down his throat. You don't need to be awake. I had both scopes last year.
Oh.
They put me out.
Oh.
Felt nothing but woke up with an erection. Here we go.
I don't think that's about medicine.
At all.
I don't think that's got anything to do with his treatment. George, you know what'll make your week instantly better? The F1 season starts today.
Oh, it does too.
You're
It goes
interested
through
in that.
Bahrain, right?
Mm.
Mhm.
All right. Well, listen, a bunch of really, really horrible injuries going over here. Just people saying, that they've had terrible things happen. And the bottled water is just as bad. Plastic bottles do the research, says John Bad Dog. Oh, please. Something's going to kill you.
Something's going to get you, whether it's
Right.
short term, whatever.
Yeah.
We should be so happy that it's Friday and that we actually.
I'd rather die over 30 years from drinking bottled water than drinking Cape Town water in 3 days.
Almost killed you in a week. And that's horrific. All right. Well, Borge, stop whining, says Carl. Just have a whiskey and get back to charging your car and filling your JoJo tank. So you're feeling normal again?
Yeah, I'm feeling normal for the first time probably this morning. Last night, my stomach was uncomfortable,
See,
but it was okay.
The problem with this too is you went down for this E-Pre, right? Which, by the way, someone sent me a video and it does sound like Scale Electrics,
It does.
which is a bit disappointing.
It's very loud though.
Yeah,
It's-
but it still sounds like Scale Electrics.
yeah, it does. It's a
Bit disappointing. I gotta say, like I know you're into the e-cars.
No,
and,
I have an opinion, Gareth. I think that we will stick with hybrids on the racetrack, just like horses were relegated to the racetrack.
Okay, so it'll be a sport, but it'll be a specialist sport, and people will continue to watch real Formula One, and this will develop as another sport,
Exactly.
which is fine. They can
Which
both
is-
live.
Yeah,
No,
that's
neither needs
sport.
to die.
Sports
right?
entertainment. You've just got to get people to want to have a jaw. And
Right.
20,000 people had a jaw on
Absolutely.
the weekend.
I mean, I know a lot of drunk people who live in Cape Town. Some of them are my friends. Any excuse will do. If going to the E-Pre is the excuse, for them it's really about the drinking. And luckily no one fell over the railing onto the cars, because that would have been a disaster. But it seems to have gone well.
Yeah, I think it brought, I think I said last week, 2.4 billion rand into the
Superb.
country, which is brilliant.
No,
I think
good. That's
That's
great.
the reason these things should happen.
And I'm happy for Cape Town because that city is running itself very well, except for their water, clearly, which is very embarrassing. Got to say again, do not drink the water.
Don't even drink it in Joburg, because the first person
Oh.
died of cholera the other day
Oh
in,
my
I think,
God.
Brakpan.
Well,
There was a news report.
but that's Brackpan. I don't think that was the water from the tap. They probably just went down to the river and actually, used their hands. You from the East Rand.
Yeah, that's why I'm giving you the stanky eye. Like
It's not impossible for people to
quiet though.
people to drink from the river in Brackpan or from the actual pan in Brackpan. Is what's that dam that you guys with? It's always full of aero fuel and stuff.
Lakeside?
No, man. There's
that's
a
Jamison.
Bonero or whatever. There are actually there's one lake that the birds smell of avgas because. No, really. I wish Greta Thunberg would come and spend 15 minutes on the East Rand. She'd never complain about any other country again. She'd be out there scooping up oil.
She won't get up.
Washing the waterfowl. She'd have a short life. I don't think people around that dam live very long. So, Greta, if you're listening, we've got
Please,
some
come
serious business for you here.
Come to the East Rand. You have fun though.
By the way, she was supposedly arrested by the police. I don't know if you saw this.
That seems so staged.
It's the second staged and theatrical. Yeah. That's exactly what it was. And they arrested Norwegian police. I mean, can you imagine the Norwegian police?
For what? What grounds?
Because she was part of a protest against wind turbines. Exactly. Just take a minute.
Is she running out of things to protest about? She's going full circle.
So this is it. the activist environmentalist left will always eat itself because nothing's ever good enough, right? They think that they can achieve utopia.
She's the epitome of autophagy.
There we go. So here's the problem with her.
Is that when you get bacteria in the throat?
That's what George had up his asshole, is an autophagy. That's why it's fine now. You just have to wait for it to go away. But Greta Thunberg was arrested by the Norwegian police for protesting against wind turbines because the reindeer farmers say that the wind turbines have upset the reindeer, so they're not mating. So she went, "How dare you?" And she went out and walked around in her Ugg boots or whatever and ate some vegan, I don't know, soy sauce and
charged out for 3 bananas
and
just
stomped her foot and went, "I am very, very angry. My childhood has been taken," and all the same shit she's been saying for a while. Except now, she's not a cute little girl anymore who just has a very angry face. Now she's like an adult who has an angry face, and that gets much less attention. So now she has to ratchet it up a bit, Otherwise, her cred goes down the toilet, which it pretty much has. Because Germany's restocking their fuel portfolio with coal-burning power stations. Most of Europe is saying, Greta, it was great, but the adults are in the room now because we've got a war with Russia on, and we're cold in the winter. We need fuel.
But she doesn't seem to have any ideas. I mean, couldn't she be cupping a few of the reindeer's balls or playing some Marvin Gaye?
She does that to warm her little hands because it's so cold in Norway.
Why can't they learn from the pig farmers?
What happens to pig farmers?
They help the pigs mate.
Oh.
Every farmer out there has a solution to mating.
Well, if
the reindeer's having a bad day.
Listen, the fact is, these wind turbines are not generating the power that most of these countries need. And the problem is people like Greta are looking for utopia. They're looking for everything to work all the time. And they don't take into consideration human nature. Humans are mostly quite useless at stuff.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who aren't useless at stuff, and we talk about them on the show and how great they are at developing new and innovative ways of sorting out problems. But there are always going to be problems. And these people who live in the world and think we can solve all the problems, we can get to a point where no one will be murdered, where there'll never be any violence, there'll never be any people who step out of line. You just don't understand human nature.
We're probably living in one of the best times on the planet.
No, we are not, George.
We are.
How dare you say this? I am very unhappy. My life has been a misery because of things that you have done as a normal, white, cis, hetero male who's just putting carbon into the atmosphere with your cars.
100 years ago, what I had this week would have killed you.
Taking the batteries. Yeah, you would have been dead. Not even 100 years ago, 50 years ago, you would have been dead.
You would have been dead.
I mean, you read about, I read this fascinating article the other day. Someone sent it to me about like medical care in the Napoleonic Wars. I mean, if you
imagine the infections in those wars.
If a cannon blew off your one leg, which happened quite a lot to people, because these cannonballs would come and then they'd bounce. These huge balls of lead, they'd bounce and then just smash through like 50 people, right? And Some of them would be just turned into red powder. And some of them, because that would, like, if it hit you full on,
video game.
you'd just be vaporized into red powder. And then everyone else would be, oh, gross, because you'd be splattered all over them. But if it hit just your leg, let's say it was bouncing a little bit,
Clipped you.
you got it at the end and it took off you. They would then have to cut above where the cannonball got you, cauterize it, which means light a fire, put a red hot poker in the fire until it was red hot.
And there
All
was
the
no
time you're
anesthetic.
screaming. No anesthetic.
Well,
What are
you
talking
wouldn't
about?
you wouldn't scream because you were tough back then.
Well, you'd have a piece of leather
Yeah, you bite
between your teeth, and you'd be biting down on that, and they'd be pouring alcohol down your throat to make you drunk, because that's how you'd get through it.
If there's a time machine, please send Greta.
Well, shame. I don't want. I as much as I don't like Greta, I don't even want that to happen to her. But this attitude that the world is shit now is just so ungrateful. Like, just be a little bit grateful
You're just
that we.
disconnected, though. I mean, it means you've never solved a problem in your life, because sometimes problems have to have less than ideal solutions.
Well, the
Right.
only way we learn is through
And
failure. right?
it's going to be a
exactly.
compromise. Sometimes you have to give this up to get that. You have to give that up to get this. But there's no idea of like, oh, no, I want my whole utopian idea to come into fruition. Otherwise, it must be the system. We must tear it down.
It's like, I want an omelet, but don't you dare crack an egg.
Right.
You're never going to get breakfast then, love. I'm
Correct.
sorry, but that's just
sorry. And don't call her love. How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Use the right pronouns.
Anyway, get on a call with Mr. Mienie, Ben, Gareth, and Simpiwe. Oh, this is producer Ryan telling you to call us. 083-295-5769. I think people are a bit nervous after famous Mama called in this morning.
Yeah, she
Well,
did raise the
She took the standard right up. Yeah.
If you hear the stories, the bar is high, and then George just rocks up here with near death on top of that. Unexpected.
I think I'm actually going to walk out of here with a fear of things going wrong.
Hazmat suit.
Yeah. I mean, the Friday you had last week, George's week. Horrible.
We're the only ones who seem to
Simpiwe,
be-
touch wood.
Yes, we are the only ones. So stick with us, and
Let's keep
nothing
going
bad
then.
would happen.
I'm getting far away from the both of you as soon as the show's done. Something's about to happen.
We're not. No, nothing's going to happen to us.
No.
All right. So there are a couple other things Simpiwe wanted to bring out here. She said, forget about a BBL. There's a new trend of ladies getting a BB glow. So we were talking about glowing in these lights, but a BBL is a big booty lift.
Brazilian.
Brazilian booty lift.
I thought it was a T20 league.
Oh, hang on. Let's just
Okay.
take this call and see who this is. Hello.
There are a couple other things. Thanks.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you guys?
Good. Who's this?
It's Yonder. Happy Friday, people.
All right, Yonder. You sound excited. What's happened to you? Have you
I'm
had some
very excited
opioids?
I've just had my first drink. For Friday. So
Oh.
why not?
Listen,
7 in the morning?
I think that's quite
Early.
Let him say.
squatany of
Let
you.
him say what it is.
What did you
Never
drink?
Early for a drink.
What did you drink?
I'm actually having a smell of berry. I like to drink.
Okay, and I'm totally judging you now.
I'm sorry. That's a hell of a
Okay,
waste.
Why are you judging me?
Okay, well, I mean,
It's just a,
how many 14-year-old girls are around you at this moment with your Smirnoff berry?
a 0.0 at this moment, and not planning to have any around me.
How much?
Are you drinking those to try attract them?
Yeah. Listen, Yonder, I don't know that it's a good idea, even on a Friday morning, to be drinking before 9. Even Winston Churchill only started at 9. And he was
That's why I'm gonna be the new revolution in it, and actually show you people what good it actually brings you starting before 7 o'clock or 7 o'clock actually before 8.
Change your drink of choice, Chief. No.
Yeah, Smirnoff. I mean, really, that's a very girly drink. But even so, I mean, I don't think you should even be having those before 9 o'clock. It
was a leftover by one of the girls that was over, so I was like, you know what, let me just actually have it here. So it's just sitting alone in the
Excuse me, you said one of the girls who was over? So
Alright.
you have more than one visiting you in any given week?
Yes.
Jeez.
You must actually
Wow.
change some.
Wow, look at you. It's a real player, this guy.
As long as I get permission from the girlfriend first.
Oh, so you've also got a girlfriend?
Yeah, but
Yes.
no.
And she's okay with you having other girls over?
Yes.
I don't know how to respond to that. I'm just predicting a lot of pain in your future. That's all I can say. And I'm not talking about the drinking and a hangover from a Smirnoff, whatever.
Or the Cape Town water.
No.
Okay. Luckily, I don't suffer from hangovers. So
for now,
it's because you keep drinking. That's just called being drunk.
that's the other theory, Ben. But I do get sober because I do.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Yonder.
And
we're not going to encourage drunkenness on a Friday morning. First,
good luck as you go towards your job at Tambo Airport, guiding those planes in. No doubt, you're very good at
managing the railways to make sure they cross at the right time and they stop the right train and before the crossing. That's Yonder's
job. On the forklift goes well.
Congo Chris says, "Don't listen to them, Yonder. Beer is the breakfast of champions." Oh no, God no.
If you're a Viking or something, yes, totally.
Well, those guys had to. Again, if you go back, like before a war or whatever, you'd have to get completely molded because otherwise life was just untenable.
Yeah, but if you live in quite a rural place, that's also how you can get calories. Not the best.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I mean, they burnt it off so quickly.
Like my uncle always says, beer's a meal, boy, beer's a meal. He honestly believes that. Yeah. He'll like tuck into a beer in the middle of the day and that's all he needs.
Well, if you have a Guinness and it's cold, you normally throw a pie in there as well. Look, this isn't exactly sexy talk, but people do this.
Simpiwe, you've never had a Guinness and a pie.
No, it doesn't sound anything
I don't think I've ever had a Guinness.
That's not your culture.
Okay, so this winter we must go for a Guinness.
That sounds dangerous.
I can't drink that stuff.
I'm still very young, Ben. Like
it's like having a cappuccino with a beer flavor.
It's like wrestling with an old man.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I just don't like the color. It's black. It's like
I wonder what that's doing to my innards. I'll have innards like George.
They've been making it for hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years. Guinness was the first ever beer brand.
Yeah. I believe it doesn't taste bad. I've never tasted one.
It's thick. It's thick.
No,
it's
I'm
rich,
sure there were beers.
No,
there were beers in ancient Egypt that had nothing to do with Guinness. Don't give the Irish too much credit.
You say that now, but those Egyptians were known for St. Patrick's Day.
The Irish are
pyramids were green
in the queue of European countries. Oh, by the way, I heard something fascinating this week from a guy who was born in Moldova.
Okay.
Moldova is a tiny little country on the eastern side of Romania. It's the poorest country in Europe, and it's also the saddest country in Europe. So when you think about miserable places,
wind turbines just going nonstop.
No, it's just the most miserable place ever. Apparently, the happiness index, which is this thing they do, Moldova always comes up last. People there are just unbelievably hopeless and miserable.
Oh wow!
So just when you think Eskom, the shit water that George drank, you've got financial problems, your relationship's not going well, your business is whatever your problem is in the world right now. Moldova, it would be much worse. I mean, the place even sounds bad. Moldova, it's grown over with mold. Horrible, right?
Yeah, ne?
And they're also being threatened at the moment with war because there are Russian troops.
Always.
There are Russian troops in Moldova, and the Russians might want to take it over, just like Putin's trying to do in the Ukraine. So it's extra shitty at the moment.
Is it just one of those places that obviously there was communism and then they never bounced back?
Yeah, that's pretty much the story. But also, they do have wine. They have like a 6-kilometer tunnel under Moldova, which is filled with wine. It's like one of the world's best wine cellars. But
bottles of wine.
Clearly, the people don't.
I was picturing vineyards underground.
Don't tell South Africans that.
It's going to be great.
It's like, how does that even grow?
Is it like a rich person's wine dump?
It's like the world's largest cellar. It's perfect temperature, perfect moisture content. It's apparently the best place to store wine, but the people of Moldova cannot afford the wine that's stored there. So people from all over the rest of the world send their wine, and these poor Moldovan people have to watch as the wine is loaded into the cellar.
You should have led with that, Gareth. Now I understand. I'd also be in my feelings when there's like wine over there that I can't drink, but there is like other people living their best lives.
you know how insignificant or how poor you must feel if your country is a wine cellar. Like that's a new low.
That's all they've got. And their currency is called the leu. The leu. L-E-U.
Sure. Okay.
So they're not even on the euro. They just got their little scraps of paper.
No, the EU doesn't want them. They've tried to join.
I now understand why.
Imagine.
Could
I please just have 5 lire. I just need to catch the bus from one grey little communist town to another. I'd love to just move out of my concrete bunker into the wine cellar bunker, but I need 10 lire, please. That's how shit Moldova is.
How do you spell that? Leu.
L-E-U.
L-E-U.
Yeah.
Oh.
What a terrible, terrible place. Apparently also in the main square, because they're an old communist country, they have speakers on the flag posts. You know those speakers that face in 4 directions? Those old school speakers.
Yeah. It looks like one of those.
And they play classical music all day. And then when the government has to announce something, they go, "Attention, citizens of Moldova." And they broadcast this horrible communist propaganda across there. Today, the Great Parliament of Moldova decided that it is acceptable for you to wear shoes in winter. Thank you.
You should play the ice cream truck song.
Exactly.
Here's an interesting quote about Moldova. Some guy called Eric Weiner said, "Without an abiding faith or culture on which to rely on, Moldovans harbor a superstitious worldview that is free-floating, anchored to nothing but a cloud of pessimism that hovers over the sad land."
Oh my God. That's the most depressing thing I've ever heard.
You know how many sad faces
A cloud of pessimism.
You know how many sad
What's the
faces
population of Moldova?
Let me tell you. Yeah, sad, but total population is 2.6 million people.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God, what a horrible place.
Reason number 7,389,000,000 that communism doesn't work. Who would have thought?
Yeah. What is Moldova famous for? The wine, but not the stuff they grow. 200 kilometers of underground roadways. People would rather live like hobbits underground, or like it wasn't the hobbits, the dwarves from Lord of the Rings that live underground, right? They would rather live like that than be exposed to the actual environment of Moldova.
My goodness. And they've got a negative population growth rate. Not surprising.
Please read that quote again. That was the most depressing thing I've ever heard.
It really was.
I'm going to point people to that. Listen, please, ladies and gentlemen of South Africa, no matter how, and wherever you are in the world, frankly, I don't know whether anyone's listening to us in Moldova, but this really depresses me. Just read it again, Ben. Wait, I need to play some sad music underneath because this is not the kind of thing you just let slip. All right, let's go.
Without an abiding faith or culture on which to rely, Moldovans harbor a superstitious worldview that is free-floating, anchored to nothing but the cloud of pessimism that hovers over the sad land. So really, like, the only time these people are happy, the only time they're happy is when the Moldovan national football team plays. Have you ever heard of them winning anything?
No.
I didn't even know Moldova
so
was
depressing.
Exactly. So their only time to get happy is when their team runs up, but they're not beating anybody.
And then I have to ask you, why would Russia want to conquer this country?
The wine. They want to annex the wine.
You think so? That's all it is. Got to be, right? No other reason to do it. Oh my God, what a horrible place. Well, I now feel better about myself, no matter how many injuries Ben or George might accrue during the course of the day. At least we don't live in Moldova. My God.
Gee whiz.
What an awful, awful story. Congo Chris says Moldova sounds like PE. Yes. Parallel parking. Any place beginning with the word mold is not inviting, even if they try and convince us the mold is over. Mongezi says, bringing us back to earth, at least Moldova has electricity.
But they don't have wine.
Maybe. Well, they do, but they're not allowed to drink it. Oh, my God. All right. So after that description of Moldova, George is ready for that opioid. All right. Well, if you want to get hold of us, especially if you're from Moldova, then South Africa, so +2783 295 5769. Just put it on your phone. Even if you don't want to call today, you're going to at one point. There's going to be a moment where you feel you need to call us. So just save that as it is. All right. Quick other thing. Ben, you have finally subscribed to TikTok.
No,
yes, you have. Admit it. You've gone on to TikTok. Ben,
do you have a TikTok account?
He said he never would. But
I don't.
You went onto TikTok. You told me.
Yes, I was considering it because obviously I live in a world of people want to use TikTok and they need guidance and stuff, which I obviously never give them because I don't know. Okay. I refer them to other people. but I needed very desperately, because we've just got issues with staff at the moment and they've been pulled in other directions. I had to now try create a TikTok video this week for a client.
Okay.
I downloaded the app.
Mm-hmm.
I got to the terms and conditions thing.
Mm-hmm.
I then put my phone down. I went no further.
Oh, so you were also frightened off by the
Did
terms.
you read
You
the
actually
terms and
read
conditions?
the T's and
I did
C's.
not, but I just know that
It
there's
contains something.
malicious. It's like basically the George's water of tech is about to come on me. So I left it, and then we actually just made the video, and someone else used it on their phone. But it's quite interesting. Like all social media is in
He just
decline. at the moment.
delegated.
No,
He
just
I didn't do it, guys. I didn't do it.
Okay.
So don't judge me.
I'm happy for you
Okay.
because it means at
Came
least
close.
Xi Jinping will know less about you.
He almost had my phone, guys.
Almost.
He almost had it.
Ah, got you now.
Yeah.
Burrito Ben
Sending you to Moldova.
But the interesting
Exactly.
thing about TikTok is that's the actual only social media that's incline. Well, as in
Yes.
people are growing.
Yes.
As in engagements.
Mhm.
So since 2019, just look at Instagram. Their engagement rates were 1.22. They're now down to 0.47. Facebook's gone from 0.09 to 0.06.
Oh, wow.
Twitter's gone from 0.45 to 0.35. TikTok is at a staggering 6% engagement.
I've got to say this is why we
Sorry,
were talking about
5.69.
Uncancelled that we
Mhm.
did last week and how those numbers they're all organic. We haven't bought or boosted anything,
Yes.
right? This is genuine. It must be way higher because they've suppressed these numbers so much because they want you to pay for the stuff, right?
Absolutely.
So now I feel so much better about it. So if Simpiwe talks about like hundreds of thousands of views and, tens of thousands of new subscribers and things, that's real.
Yes.
And we're not paying for that.
Yes.
And it makes me feel better about it because these days, look at that. Those numbers are devastatingly
These are
low.
average engagement rates.
Wow, that's pathetic.
The best Twitter has had is 0.045.
Wow.
The best Instagram.
I mean, you'd
is
have a better
1.22.
time going out onto Rivonia Road here and having a sign around your neck.
Okay, back
Seriously.
to handing out pamphlets at robots.
You'd reach more people.
So TikTok with its 5.69, but
That's
then
huge.
again, can you trust China?
No. And also, you shouldn't let your children onto TikTok.
Yes.
You know that even Canada, which is the most woke, stupid, left-wing country you can imagine in the first world, even they have banned government departments from using TikTok on any of their government machines. You're not allowed to use TikTok at work because they realize like there's just a spy operation. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And they're allowing dumb people to watch dance videos on there.
Yes.
But the real story is that they're spying. They don't need a balloon up in the air with all of that
That's
equipment.
so smart.
You're giving up your info yourself.
But look, I mean, Ricky makes a good point. Obviously, because it's newer than the other ones, it gets the engagement because people want to be on that. And it is. It's like visual crack. But I always remember this one episode of Rick and Morty. It was so funny, and it comes back to this. So Jerry, the dad, he's like a dumbass, okay? And Rick always treats him like shit as the dumbass that he never should have married my daughter because he's a proper beneath
He
him.
hates him.
And there was always this weird like alien hanging around the house. And if you ever talk to me and say, "Can I build you an app?" And then
I remember
that episode.
Yeah.
And Rick was always like, "Never let that guy build you an app." So then Rick goes into some other like space journey, and the guy goes to Jerry, "Let me build you an app." And Jerry's like, "Yeah, okay, that'd be quite fun." But he builds this dating app, which is like the most, it turns the entire world against everyone because the moment you're on it, you find someone that's going to be perfect for you. But the moment you find that person who's perfect for you, the app tells you about someone else. And this is what TikTok is basically. Every single reel that comes out is better than the next. So then you get stuck in this vortex of just visual stimulus.
No, so that's the difference with TikTok. It's not about
We actually have an expert here. I mean, like,
Which is
this
why
someone,
I want her to take this conversation
someone who
further.
knows what she's talking about. Go ahead, Simpiwe.
What makes TikTok so brilliant is not the fact that you're going to get this like beautiful created content. It's one, the algorithm is perfect, so you're going to get what you are into. So if
It's
you're
the
not
social graph, right?
yes, so if you're not
that's
into
exactly
dance,
my point. Like,
you're gonna get food,
Yeah, yeah.
whatnot,
It's a
and all that. But then also you're also getting real time people telling you about, oh, I bought this product and it doesn't work. So you're getting real reviews and you're watching people kind of engage and you can stitch it and whatnot. And that's the new thing is that you before on Instagram, you couldn't necessarily be like, oh, Gareth, I like that video, so I'm also going to stitch it and join you in that video. Whereas TikTok is like you're allowed to just wake up one morning, be in your car and record an entire video ranting about your day. And we're all listening and we're all saying, damn, that's true. I also go through that. And that's the huge phenomenon of
But that's exactly
TikTok.
where I'm going. It is so instinctive around what you need and want. That's why you're so stuck on it.
Yes, but it's also done good.
No, there is, because there's life hacks, there's how-tos, all these kind of things. There's no doubt it's done good. But some people, like everything in this world, humans corrupt it and humans fuck it up.
That's true.
Because
But I will say with the good, like in terms of the book industry, for example, like hashtag book talk. I think
book talk is a big deal.
Yes.
I saw this. There's a section at Exclusive Books for book talk.
Yes.
We met with the publishers the other day and they were telling me about this. It's mind blowing.
Yeah, and it's all because of TikTok. And we all know that like people haven't really been reading. So there's been this decline of people buying books.
Mhm.
And because of TikTok now, like people are going on to just share, oh, this is the book I'm reading. And the hashtag book talk was created. And I think it has over like 22 billion impressions or views. And now people review the books and it's actually increased book sales. So
I do have to admit, most of what you're talking about, like stitching and shit, it sounds to me like I'm really stupid. I don't know what the hell's going on anymore. And I'm actually okay with that.
So that was another point that I'm going to make. It's
I'm
like,
all right with it.
Everything you say, I'm not disputing that whatsoever.
No,
Okay.
Simpiwe is going to handle all that for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, you passed it on to someone else. I'm passing it on to Simphiwe. I don't know this shit at
As
all.
a platform, it's
She's the
genius. There's
expert.
no doubt about it.
Oh
It's
my God.
genius because it is so damn engaging, and they've just reinvented the algorithm.
yes.
No.
You know, like I forget the brand now, but they were working out how they could be so good in the fashion industry because fashion's trends, right?
Mm.
So take a company like Zara. Their whole thing was is that they could turn trends around so quickly. So you would see something and you'd be able to buy it at an affordable rate. So us here sitting in Sandton, we could see maybe something that happens at a world event, and we could probably buy a garment that's quite similar to
The
us
next day.
celebrities in the next sort of week or so.
No.
So this other Chinese company who, sorry, I know this is very obvious. I forget the name now. They basically put algorithms into fashion. So it was like kind of like right now fashion. So
Mhm.
you'd be literally on TikTok with some sort of like amazing sort of dance that someone's doing. They look incredible. And then you get served this thing, like you can buy that outfit. But it's so quick, it's like instant. So now, because we have this whole thing about instant gratification, they have gamified this to the level where this fashion company is like blowing everyone away.
Oh, but that's where also
But-
technology is going.
Yeah,
So we're not going to
absolutely.
leave the house to buy anything. You're going to see an ad with the someone in the new outfit, whatever, and you can be like, I want that T-shirt, size whatnot, and then you'll see like maybe a picture of you. Oh, how do I look like? And then you can order that, and then boom shaka boom, you have not even left your house, and you've gone like
Jeez.
things
Yeah.
delivered because
the
you're
thing
on
is-
TikTok, and that's where that's where they actually want to go with the technology.
But it's not. But I mean, the execution of what they've done is good, but the underlying reason they're doing it is the bad thing, potentially. The balloons and the.
I'm going to be fine. You could check my phone. There's no TikTok on there, and I'm not in any hurry to get it on there. I'm sorry. People send me cool videos on WhatsApp anyway that come off of TikTok. I'll
What most people are
watch
doing
those.
now is they're posting the video both on Instagram and.
There's no
TikTok.
one.
Yeah.
There's no one. I'm that interested in the world that I want to follow them on TikTok as well. I'll manage if they're already on the other stuff that I'm on. Cool.
Yeah, but that's exactly where we are in our lives. We've been so exposed to this kind of stuff as well. Like I look at the engagement rates and I don't like or subscribe or comment on things. I watch things that I need to watch and I move on.
Mhm.
So in the past, we would always be so
you are the
engaging.
problem person in
I
my
am.
life.
I am absolutely that. I am. I don't leave a comment.
Why doesn't he want to like this?
Yes,
now?
like you only got 2 likes. Damn, you're not
I
doing
don't
good.
do the statistics.
All right, very important, like public service announcement. I think this is useful stuff. A friend of mine sent me this this morning. It's a story from Puberty on
Great
Instagram. It says, when a bear attacks, don't push a slower friend down, National Park Service says. True story. The National Park Service in America has advised park goers, if they encounter a bear, to not push a slower friend down.
Well, it's like, why do divers carry knives? So you can stab your buddy when you see a shark.
That's nice. So now we know divers are real
Sure.
assholes. If you come across a bear, never push a slower friend down, even if you feel that the friendship has run its course.
That is nice.
That's an incredible thing for them to actually put out there. Even if the friendship has run its course, the service tweeted this on Tuesday. One user replied, "What if you're the slower friend?" National Parks replied to that, "Check in on your friendship before you head to the woods." This is for real. Someone there has a great sense of humor. Another user said, "Okay, but what if the bear looks really hungry? Don't they deserve a little snack as a treat?" The National Park replied, "Do you consider yourself the faster or the slower of the two friends?" So
Moral of the story is don't be the slow one.
Oh my God. So someone there has a sense of humor, which I like very much. All right, George, anything you want to throw in before we get cracking?
Yeah.
Start our Friday morning.
I will give you one thing if we can. We get to
Sure.
but
Not at all.
driving makes you smarter.
Ooh.
I know this. I'll tell you what I know about this. You have to drive different routes.
Yes.
And if you drive different routes, you start new neural pathways. If you do the same route every day, you do exactly the same, stop at the same place, you know where all the speed traps are, you know where all the landmarks are. You're not exercising your brain. Do a different route, not every day, but like once a week, you choose a different route.
Okay.
You actually are teaching yourself all kinds of new things. It's making the brain work harder. It's like doing crosswords or any of that stuff.
So exactly what Gareth said, but the scientific reason is when tasks require your full attention, the central executive network, apparently in your brain, parts of your brain are more active. And it enables us to focus on mentally demanding activities by filtering out non-essential thoughts from your subconscious mind, also called the imagination network. So when you're doing what Gareth describes, your imagination network then starts to get freed up. And that's when you start to have creative ideas. Have you ever been in the car and then suddenly you come up with this bright idea and you can't write it down? It's because your central executive network is working and your subconscious is freed up.
Very good. Well, I mean, I think that's probably a good idea all around. You shouldn't really be doing other stuff while you're driving in the first place. But for most of us, if you are on the same road every day, you do start taking chances. You go like, oh, I know what's coming up on this road. I know where the potholes are.
Yeah.
You know?
So, and that kind of bears out the fact that long distance driving actually makes you dumber.
Yeah.
Because it's boring.
Right.
And
So
it doesn't.
truck drivers,
The Free State.
just those guys on the long
Basically
hauls.
anywhere in the Free State. I know you've got love for the Free State, George, but my God, you drive there, it's flat.
It's flat. There's
You
nothing
can
there.
see the road for 3 kilometers ahead. You're just basically going to autopilot.
Yeah.
Someone
Doesn't
asked
make
here,
sense.
George, we always get questions from people. V. Rus says, George, where is the best place to service your car? A very general question. We don't know where V. Rus lives. We don't know anything, but just generally.
Is that a good question?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
virus.
think it's a good question.
Should we ignore it?
I think, 2,000 dealerships in the country. That's very
Like
dependent.
what car do you drive? Where are
Well,
you in the plan?
I can tell you if you're in Ermelo, speak to my friend Phil at DeWitt Motors. He'll help you. But otherwise, I can't help you at all. Sorry.
Yeah. So it's very, very dependent on where you are.
No, stupid
Very
question, V. Rus.
Where should I eat food?
Yeah, that's a good
Yes.
comparison,
That's
actually.
exactly
That's
right.
that's exactly right.
You need to be more particular. If you use Chat GPT, it would not be useful to you. You need to refine your answer to something very, very
Specific.
particular. Yeah.
On
All right.
ChatGPT quickly, is anyone using it daily?
Oh, so
Well, we're
I'm
testing
that
it.
child.
Oh, easy.
I'm that child. No, I'm all about the new tech AI. Let's go. How does this affect me? And I will tell you that I'm not as worried as people have been saying on the internet about like how AI is going to take over, because the one thing it really doesn't have is that creative element. All it does is just think. So if you give it a text, refine this, it's going to give a very boring, mundane answer. Whereas as a person who's very creative, you can be quirky, sarcastic, like there's tonality in how you write. And that's the one thing that I've seen with Chat GPT. But in every other aspect, in terms of just like create a recipe, convert this, convert that, do like scientific stuff. Yeah.
Just a better Google. So when people say, "Oh, this is going to take over our lives," that's because we got clickbait, shitty media, and all I see nowadays articles going, "I tried this in ChatGPT, and the results were scary."
What happened next?
And you get people with these stupid YouTube thumbnails, like someone just put a hot poker up their bottom, and it's so annoying seeing this kind of stuff.
Just work smarter and not harder.
Bad.
George says there's another thing that you can relate to driving and IQ.
Yeah, the car you drive in IQ. So people make generalizations about drivers, right?
Interesting.
So there's a study that analyzed the link between your intelligence and the car brand that people drive. So I might offend some people in the studio, but
Yeah, go ahead.
or on the chat.
Go ahead.
So the average IQ of a Skoda driver, now Skoda is a Czech Republic brand, not in South Africa, turns out to have the people that drive the Skoda have the highest IQs of 99.
Skoda. Who would have
Skoda
guessed? All right,
in the
so you
world.
want a smart life partner.
Yes.
You want someone to breed
Otherwise-
with to make clever kids. Skoda.
Otherwise known as the Moldovan Mercedes.
Yes, it looks like a VW Polo actually.
All right.
So if I run through the list very quickly,
I just
Skoda-
want to know who's at the bottom.
Yeah,
you
let's
know,
go
yeah.
straight cut
Okay,
to the
let's go
chase
straight.
here.
Let's go straight to the middle. If you drive a Mercedes Benz, you apparently have an average IQ of 94.74.
Wow.
If you drive a
That's
Hyundai,
not
you
good,
have an
eh?
average IQ of 93.52.
Shit, that's even worse.
If you drive an Audi, you have an average IQ of 93.25. If you drive a Volvo, you have an IQ of 92.
Volvo drivers are really stupid.
Well, so safety oriented.
Yeah.
If you drive a
I need to be-
VW
keep me
92,
safe.
Yeah.
Land Rover's at the bottom of the list with an IQ of 88.58.
So IQ is, I mean, listen, a lot of people have thrown IQ out as a measure, but it's actually still one of the best measures for someone's ability in the workplace. You do need to check for IQ. We have never found a better way of measuring people's overall or general intelligence. And you're telling me Land Rover drivers
Generally have
And
a
have
low
you seen
IQ.
how many there are on the roads? I'm judging them now. I'm
That's
just like,
because they're sexy, those cars nowadays. 20
Wow.
years ago, a Land Rover driver was a very different person.
The sample included the Kardashians, perhaps.
do they drive Land Rovers? Because that's what's
There's a
brought
lead-
it
there's a
down.
lead weight.
Yeah, that'll pull everything down, including their outfits. All right, that's all we got time for, everybody. George, lovely to have you in the studio. Ben, good to have you here for the first
So
time.
good to be here. Thank you
Most
for the
importantly, big thank you to everybody who's been on the show this morning, including all of our callers. And a big thank you to famous Mama, who told us
Yes.
about the dead guy in the bed with her.
yeah. So what we're not going to do this weekend is try die.
No,
And,
Not
and
die.
if you are a lawyer,
Yes.
dead mama is
dead Mama, no,
Dead
famous
Mama.
Mama.
Famous Mama.
Famous Mama, yeah.
might have a need for someone who knows
Legal representative.
Yeah, legal
Oh.
representation.
Okay, very good. Carl just wants to know, is there an IQ for Mitsubishi drivers?
Let me have a look.
An average IQ for those?
Mitsubishi, is it even on the list? Mitsubishi.
You know, it's bad if you're not even on the list.
Mitsubishi ain't on the list, Carl. Sorry.
They don't even, they're so stupid they don't even get measured. Huh? All right. Thank you, everybody.